What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Faction Motorsports After Hours podcast. On this episode, we have our final podcast from our final bout trip. For this one, this was pretty much, we picked up Malcolm and Jen from the airport, and we were able to be graced with Malcolm's presence on this podcast to help us with all the audio and the video. We drove up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where we met up with Kevin, Brent, and Matt of Bayside Street Club. These guys were awesome enough to have us do the podcast right in Matt's garage, surrounded by literally all of their drift cars. This was right before they were going to drive to Final Bout, so we caught them basically right before they left for the trip. It's not very far from them. I think it's about an hour, which is... Malcolm just looked at me and told me it's 30 minutes. My fault. It's 30 minutes from the track, so that's a great place to live. And we even got food in Green Bay. It was a pretty fun time. Me and Carl were completely smoked by this point in the trip, but I think we still managed to have a great podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was cool to experience, what these guys went through forming their own drift club in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And yeah, I was distracted by the ice cream truck a couple times, but I didn't get any ice cream. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Let us know how you liked it. Please leave us a review on Spotify and I guess wherever you're listening to this, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. And yeah, enjoy. This podcast is sponsored by East Coast Drift School. East Coast Drift School is a driving school focused on learning the art of drifting. Conveniently located at the greatest drifting facility in the United States, Raceway Park in Englishtown, New Jersey. Raceway Park currently has 3 tracks, so you will have a few options to choose from when setting up your lessons. Chris Knapp, who is part of the Raceway Park family, will be your teacher as he guides you through car setup and technique. If you are more of a seasoned driver, East Coast Drift School is also the place where you can get some extra seat time. Chris allows private track time with no instructing as well, so that you can get some test and tune runs in before that big event or competition you have coming up. Instead of spending the night dodging the police with your boys, consider signing up with East Coast Drift School the next time they release their schedule. Chris releases the schedule on the 16th of every month through Instagram. Make sure to check them out, give them a follow, and shoot over a direct message when you are ready to set up a date. You can find them on Instagram at East Coast Drift School. This podcast is also sponsored by Automotive Specialty Wraps. Looking to have your car ceramic coated or wrapped? Look no further than Automotive Specialty Wraps. ASW is a company specializing in paint protection film, vehicle wraps, ceramic coatings, and window tinting. Owned and operated by car enthusiasts and drifters, their technicians have over 10 years of experience in the industry. They are located right off of Route 208 in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Other than window tinting, which is something we all need at some point, it was the ceramic coating that really caught my attention back when they reached out to us. This coating basically gives your car's paint extra UV protection while also making it shine. Wax only lasts a couple of weeks at most, but ceramic coating lasts for a year or even longer. Honestly, this stuff is like witchcraft to me. Julian came down here one day to explain how it works and how it compares to wax, and I was pretty stunned. They perform a full 2-stage polish to the car beforehand just to make sure it's in perfect condition before applying the coating. As mentioned, they also offer window tinting and paint protection film installations. Now, everyone knows what window tinting is, but these guys offer carbon or ceramic window tinting depending on your goals with the vehicle. Paint protection film, or PPF, is a great idea for those new vehicle owners that don't want to watch their investment get littered with rock chips. Also keep in mind they are capable of getting liveries designed and installed as well as full vehicle wraps. From protecting your tow rig's exterior to full livery installations on your drift car, they have you covered. You can contact them over at automotivespecialtywraps.com and make sure to give them a follow on Instagram at automotivespecialtywraps.
All right, well, Malcolm says it's good. We're good. Welcome, everybody, to the Faction After Hours podcast. This is, I don't even know, the 4th installment of our little trip here for Final Butt. And we're in Wisconsin. I thought we were in a completely different state, apparently, or town or wherever, but we're here with Bayside, Kevin, Brent, and Matt. I almost called you Mike.
Yeah, we were supposed to come here and do a podcast with Matt, but then I had a feeling that it was going to turn into a Bayside one. So I was like, all right, that works too.
Yeah, and I think that's better.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much.
Because now we have another episode to do at some other point.
We can dial that in for sure.
Yeah.
We got all weekend yet.
Is it Bayside street club?
Originally, that's what it started out as, but
Because I checked that Instagram and I'm like, it's not Bayside Drift Team or Drift Club or anything. It's Street Club.
yeah, that's kind
That's
of
good.
That's what it started at, but I
Yeah,
mean, it
that's-
doesn't necessarily have to be that. But everyone thinks I named it after the band, but I didn't even know the band existed.
Oh yeah, Bayside. I love that band.
Yeah.
They're from Long Island, so
I thought that it was like West Coast shit, like San Francisco. And I was like, oh, they're
Bay
from the
Area.
Bay Area. And
no.
then now I know where we are, and I'm like, what the fuck?
No, it all derived from obviously being Green Bay, but really from like the Yokohama Bayside, because that's what they call that area. And then like Bayside Blue on Skylines, like it just was a cool name. And being in Green Bay, that was like, well, I want to tie that in a little bit from the area.
Shit. And
Yeah,
you
that
guys
makes
all
sense.
street drive your cars?
Yep.
Because they're all right here. We have Matt's car right here, Kevin's, and we have Brent's.
yeah,
And,
like
like,
pretty colorful
They're pretty colorful.
driveway right now.
They got some good stickers on it. Like, what's this Faction Motorsports
A
sticker
couple
on
of
here?
jokers from out east, man.
Carl, I feel so far away from you.
It's awesome. Stay that way. No, I'm just kidding. But so you got how long have you guys been a team for?
I think I started like the team in 2013, 2014, but it's kind of evolved over the time. And like, we actually have a couple of guys on the team that aren't with us right now. Like they're at work or doing whatever, but
Having a life.
yeah. So shout out those guys. But basically, it's evolved a few times with different people and everything like that. But I think we've all known each other for probably 10 years now over that. I mean, Brent I've known for a long time, but like Kevin, I met when I bought my FRS and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
that was like 2013. So yeah,
I
10 years
always
ago.
forget that you had a FRS.
Who?
Yeah, we can get into all that too.
Yeah, he had a full,
Definitely.
like FRS. It looks sick. Like, and then you got this after, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys were friends first and then became a team second.
Kind of. Like I had the team name, but I didn't really have a team. It was like around when the first final bout started, I was like, oh, team drifting, like that's really sick. I'm gonna make a team, but it was really just me. You know, like and,
I have a feeling that was a lot of people's same story.
yeah, and then I just like and then I kind of got these guys all into going to events after I went to my first event, and then it just kind of evolved from there, right?
Wait,
I mean,
so you two, Brent and Kev, you guys weren't into drifting at first, or it was Matt just this terrible influence on you both?
it was all at the same time, really, kind of, right? Like
Well, we met because we both had FRSs, but I was going to US Air since 2011.
2011. That's a while.
Yeah, that's
like
like
when I
that's
started
about
drifting.
12 years, brother.
I actually did not do my first event until 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just spectating all the drifting, and then eventually got your own shit.
I feel like a lot of. And then Brent, what about you?
I started like
Yeah, you got to move the mic.
I started shortly after Matt. I'd say like year after spectating on basically. Bought
What year
my-
was that?
I think I bought my car in
15 or 16.
no, 2014. I think
Okay.
I've had it for 9 years. So
Oh, okay. That could be a bad thing. You get into drifting.
About to say, like
Cars everywhere.
I mean, my setup at home isn't exactly. But I have two roommates and they're into grip driving, so I feel like if they were into drifting, it would be fucked, and the house would be burned to the ground.
Tires stacked in the
property
basement.
value all the way down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thankfully, I don't know. It's-
We had a duplex. It was me, Brent, and then our other teammate Kevin, and that was originally like kind of the team for a little while. And yeah, the garage was full of tires. We always were moving cars around. Like it was kind of mayhem for a little bit, especially
Kind of
like
cool though. You
just
live with
starting
your
out.
Teammates.
Yeah, it was like
mayhem.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, partying there, and then go to the track next day, and like going to the bar the night before, all that shit.
That's literally like the life that everyone wishes they had with the Fast and Furious life. The
Yeah,
fucking house. where
It's like
everyone-
well, you
Steal a
don't
DVD player.
you don't even realize you're doing it either. Like you're just being young and having cars and, whatever, have disposable income because you're all splitting the rent, right? And then like, also at that time, tires weren't, $150 a tire. It was $70 a tire, $60 a tire for a pair of cheap all seasons or whatever. So that was another cost that was different as well. So,
Yeah.
and we all low power, cheaper, well, not cheaper, but low powered cars. So they didn't use a lot of tire too.
You said FRS was your first?
Yeah.
And then yours too, Kevin, was FRS?
Yeah.
Brent, you always had an IS?
Yep. IS was my first car.
IS best car. But like, so was IS, you guys are obviously had manual trans. I feel like a lot of the answers about the FRS being a good car, I feel like it's just been solidified recently. It's a great car out the box. It's totally, in my opinion, perfect if that was like you're trying to get a car. Because I don't like Z's. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
But with the IS, was it manual already?
Yep.
Okay. Were you guys all driving together and stuff?
Not right away.
Okay. Damn, okay. Then FRS is both of
Like
you?
we were a team, but we didn't know
We were
how to
team.
be a
Yeah,
team. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like it was like we got the stickers, but like that said our team name. But
Okay.
it wasn't like we were out there banging doors right away. It was like, oh, should we tandem? I don't know. I guess like,
Would you
let's
say
try.
So you guys are all learning how to drift.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we knew the basics, could link the track, but it was like learning to drive together. I mean, we're still learning. We
Yeah.
finally have working cars for the first time in like a year or two. So it's like,
We really only bang doors on accident.
as it should be.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, I guess. Especially when you're learning. But why'd you guys get rid of the FRSs?
It's boring.
really?
They're boring.
I mean, I know why Matt did because it wasn't an S13.
Wait,
Yeah.
what makes them boring to you? I want to hear. Because you had one. It's different
are-
than somebody arguing about it on the internet.
These are Kevin's opinions. I might not condone them.
It's just like it doesn't have that. I don't know. Like you know how when you get in a car and it's old and it almost feels like it's like alive, kind
Raw,
of like
like
it
a
has a
raw feel.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the FRS just doesn't have that feeling.
I feel like, damn, I thought that it was the opposite. I would get in there, and since it was so low powered, I was like, oh, okay, I have to kind of huck the shit out of this thing for it to work.
Yeah, you do, but I don't know. It was a great car for learning and driving it every day. Like I drove every single event, every Club FR event from 2015 until like 2019.
Oh wow.
And then I bought an FC and I've driven like 4 events in 3 years.
You said that earlier, and I was like, maybe he's just exaggerating. But since you said the same exact value again, now I know you're not exaggerating.
No.
It's a year, man.
Yeah, it pretty much always breaks.
What
what-
breaks on it though?
So why do you enjoy it?
It's always something different. Like we did like a final bout gallery for just the special stage drivers because COVID shut ours down.
Yeah.
I went through like 3 alternators that day.
What?
Yeah, I found the problem. Now it's got a Nissan Quest alternator in it.
What was the problem?
The body control module kept frying.
That doesn't sound normal.
Yeah.
It's
Shout out Tom, who just did an alternator last night. I hope you're all right, buddy.
he's got a spare like 13 of them in the truck, so
I just heard that was also his third one or second one or something like that, and I was like, yeah,
got like
that
2
doesn't seem normal.
transmissions, a diff, everything.
I don't know, but so if it keeps breaking on you, why do you stay?
It's favorite car.
Keeps
All right.
throwing him back.
He's coming back. Just loves the pain.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what is that word I'm looking for? But like you were talking about the 80s cars or 90s cars and like the old feeling. Like,
Yeah.
it's got, I guess soul is the word.
Yeah.
Like, you get into a FRS, it's like, it's kind of just feels like it's a production car thing. Like,
You get in it and it feels like you're just like in a Corolla.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you have people like David Bob. Are you familiar with David Bob?
Yep.
Futago line. And,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Matt's car was sick too. So like, you can make them cool, but I feel like that thing you're talking about is like probably still not going to be there. I don't know. I never owned one. I want a GR86, but you know,
They're a lot better.
yeah, they look better, but I feel like the interior you're still gonna have that problem where you're like, this is all modern. You know, like still feel like I'm in a Corolla.
Yeah, you need a vinyl dashboard.
Yeah, true.
Is that the requirement?
Yeah.
You need to be
Yeah.
able to crack in the sun.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't know if it's the tech or what have you in that car, but I don't know. I thought that it was a good best of both worlds. So I was like, oh, that's a great car. But I guess you have to add the soul, add a little bit of seasoning in there, salt, pepper, and all that, and then you get a cool car. And then now, Matt, you have an S13, and it's absolutely beautiful. And if you're tuned into our YouTube portion, you'll be able to see it. But like, wow, they're all the cars together. Like they're kind of the same but different. Literally, like this is an SR, that's a rotary, and then the back one is a 4-door sedan.
The only thing I noticed is that Matt's is pretty much slammed, like, and then they get like taller as you go.
Are they?
A little bit.
FCs have like such small front wheel wells that like if you have them super low, it just hits everything.
Yeah.
And as you know, the rear suspension on them is
Yeah.
super weird.
Very weird.
Now you can ask him your FC question.
Which one?
Why is the rear suspension so archaic?
Oh yeah. I mean, we were talking about this with the braking guys too, but I mean, they were saying it feels pretty good.
It does.
Yeah.
And what's nice is like an S chassis will gain camber as it compresses. With having a trailing arm suspension, it doesn't gain camber. If I set it at negative half a degree, it's a negative half degree all the way through the stroke if
That's
it's set
good.
up properly.
Okay. So that's a big positive.
And with a trailing arm, the toe curve, I think it toes in more under compression, I
Correct.
believe. That's why the E36 people always. One of my close friends has a fucking E36, and that's the argument we always have. Is like mid corner forward bite, that thing is gone so quick. And I never understood that because I'm not really a mechanic. I don't know if you guys know this, but I literally do not work for Frankie. Some people ask me that.
Carl keeps saying this every time we do a podcast.
I'm letting everybody know because I just love Frankie. I'm just here for Frankie. But like, yeah, no, that trailing arm setup, I didn't even know that the RX-7 was like that.
Yeah. I mean, it looks so weird underneath, but
Well, and then like the diff in the subframe are all like one piece.
yeah.
Like a Miata.
Yeah, just like a Miata.
Yeah, and I got to look at, you mentioned our pod with braking. And the front suspension, I don't know about what it looks like on this, but on an
it's
FD, it looks
McPherson.
like a Miata. Is it the same?
Like double wishbone?
Nope, this is a McPherson strut, just like an S13.
Okay. Damn, so if you think about it, that's a good formioli right there. You got the stuff that the E36 people jerk off about, and then you have your S13 front suspension.
But it rotates differently than an S chassis, I hear. It's more like a Miata.
Yeah, they're shorter wheelbase.
Yeah.
And like you sit basically on the rear axle, so when you do transition, it feels like a lot.
Okay.
Huh. I never really put that into consideration, actually, that you do kind of sit further back.
Yeah.
I like the FC
I like it too.
more than the...
No way.
I do. I do. Stock for stock. Stock for stock.
weirdo.
If you pull an S13 hatch and an FC out from the factory, they looked
This is where the
similar.
table divides right here.
Well,
right here.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
But
get
you
what you're
guys are
saying.
over there.
I get what you're saying, but that was like considered a supercar for that brand.
Was
Was it?
This was pedestrian car for a
This is
secretary.
the secretaries.
That's right. I guess I'm comparing like a fucking spicy grapefruit to like a banana or something. Like a less cool fruit.
What?
You know what I mean? Like I guess I shouldn't really be comparing the two.
No, I mean I would, but what he's saying, yeah, you might be right. I mean, was this like the Supra
Yeah.
of Mazda?
Yeah.
I think so, but it's up to Kevin to.
But well,
confirm that.
I mean, the real
That's
that,
mad at me.
that tells you the price. Like how much did that cost when it was new versus how much a Supra cost? You know what I mean? Because a 300ZX was probably $1 million. So I would assume a Supra would. I don't know. I have the number like 40,000 in my head, but maybe I'm wrong. Like somewhere around there.
when you convert it like to today's dollars, it's probably something like that.
Okay. So even back then, you think it was like 60 or
Well, no, I don't.
less,
I
you
think
think?
I think it was like 40.
Malcolm, can you find out? Or you don't have internet, right? Okay. I kind of am interested in this. Just look up Supra, Mark IV Supra, RX-7 FC, and 300ZX.
We have Malcolm now, by the way.
Yeah, we have Malcolm. This is amazing.
Yeah, Malcolm joined us. Everybody give a hand for Malcolm.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Okay.
40K?
Oh, nailed that.
Is that in?
That's
when-
in that time, I think.
in that times dollars? Okay, so then that would probably be like 60 grand now.
Yeah. Do I hear an ice cream truck?
Yeah, the ice cream truck is.
Can we get that?
If they come down the street, they've been driving around and not coming
Malcolm,
down the
if
street.
we hear an ice cream truck, can we pause it?
Are you for real right now?
I'm dead ass serious. Okay. Just
Oh my
sure.
fucking God. Who the hell are you, dude?
Dude, this is like the best podcast we've done yet as far as environments are concerned. We're outside. I got my own mic stand that I can like relax.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
I'm
true.
not like on the table. For Mark 7.
Oh, what a
Okay.
bargain.
And then a 300ZX. I want to know that one. Z32.
I bet FD was expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's what we should be comparing it to.
Yeah.
So you got to look up an FD RX-7.
Yeah, because FC was like from 86
Yeah.
until 89.
Yeah, you're
well,
right.
91.
90. Oh, I thought 93 was first year for FD, or was it 92?
There was a year in between.
Yeah, so if we're talking like, yeah, so FC, so then you'd be comparing it to like a Mark III Super, and that shit was probably like not a lot of money. So
Mark III?
yeah,
Well, I met this guy the other night. He had us over. Lee from Proceed.
yeah,
He had a Mark III Supra.
Yeah.
That's probably the only Mark III Supra I've ever seen not
Yeah.
sitting in somebody's backyard.
Oh, really? Like you
I
just
feel
don't
like
see
the
him
Mark
drive?
III Supra, they were plagued with that head gasket issue of the 7M GTE. They just like to blow up, like it's inevitable. And when you hear something like that, you're like, damn, why is that sitting there? And you're like, oh, okay, the head gasket probably went.
It was kind of crazy when he got rid of that car because he like put a lot of work in that car.
He had that car for so long. Like, I mean, it was like he had that car for a long time when I got into drifting. And
Yeah.
Like, you know, would look at old videos of it, you know, when it was like blue and it had S13 bumpers on it, you know, that he like cut up to make work. And,
Yeah.
you know, and then it became black and then it was gray. And, you know, the last iteration, it had a lot of stuff done to it to like make that a decent car, you know. And
The crazy thing is that like when it's tandeming with people, for some reason, it looks huge. Like it's really
Yeah,
long.
that's why I don't like when I would see them drifting. I'd be like, that car doesn't fit to me. But people liked it. But I was just like, that car doesn't.
It's
fit.
different.
Yeah, it's different. But but now he's got FRS, so it's like another different car.
and he
You know what I
drives
mean?
the shit out of that.
Yeah, it's very unique. Malcolm's got the answer. Yeah. Okay, so they're all like all those like '90s cars are like 40,000. Oh,
damn.
okay,
those
so you
supposed to keep the
What?
prices
wait,
low.
yeah, that's fucking cheap. Are you sure? That's crazy. And now it's the opposite. The
Damn.
FD is the most expensive, or you can't say that.
No, the Mark IV Super.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But then the fucking 300ZX is like whatever.
yeah. People still don't. They're hard to work on, and it's like it's kind of a niche car because it's like different style than the other ones.
Yeah.
They do have the nicest interior out of all of those cars, though.
Yeah.
There's a really nice 300ZX at the tuning
300
shop
ZX.
that did this car. And it's just
Yeah.
like parked in the corner. It's like
I do love those cars. I don't know about for drifting. I feel like that car would move like an RX-7 because you know how it seems short or like where you sit is comparable, but it's fucking way heavier, I'm sure. So
the one at the tuning shop that we saw. Me and Kevin were looking at. I'm like, you know who would like this? Frankie.
yeah, I think they're cool, like for a highway car or something.
Yeah, this was set up. It was all black exterior, black wheels. Like it had some sort of kit on it, I think, right, Kevin?
Yeah.
But then the interior was like immaculate, all brown leather,
Peanut butter
Like-
brown.
Oh yeah.
everything like still perfect condition.
And the whole interior like slides down.
Yep.
Like it's like
It's all fighter jet style.
yeah, it's Firejet style, but it's like super angled, which is like kind of weird. Like I think the Mark IV Super is probably one of the best interiors as far as
Yeah.
the '90s go. But then you got like the FD and you got that car. They're all like similar, the same like fighter jet type
Yep.
deal.
And even the DSMs at the time too tried to like
Yeah.
emulate that as well. a little
Dude,
bit.
I love that about those cars. That's probably one of the main reasons I like the second gen Eclipses. And
Yeah,
everything.
that's what me and my friends all had in high school was DSMs and shit.
Yeah, I love the way those cars are inside.
All right, so you mentioned you had a DSM. I kind of want to know
Unfortunately, yes. I did.
like the region that we're in. I've noticed is way different than where we're from. So I kind of want to know what it's like to try to get into cars when you guys were growing up in this area. Because every time I look around, I just see a bunch of real estate, and I'm like, I could drift there. Like I could drift there. I could drift there. I could drift
Yeah,
there.
there's so many empty lots on the way up
Like,
here.
what was that like growing up? I guess did it make it like sick?
I mean, we didn't really get into drifting till later, but it is hard to street around here. There's a lot of cops. Like,
real?
Like per how many people live here. I mean, Green Bay as a city alone, not counting the like different smaller cities that are connected to it, is 100,000 people. So, and we have like a crap ton of cops. Not because it's like crime ridden. It's just that they police the hell out of this area. You know, so like if you wanted to go streeting, it's kind of pretty easy to get, you know, popped. Like I mean, so it's really not the best place. It's not like Chicago. Like I went down to Chicago one time and was driving with some of those guys and like
Allegedly.
Yep.
allegedly,
Thank you.
you know,
Thank you, Kevin.
and yeah, it's like not, I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but it's like,
Yeah, it's different. I
Yeah,
guess the
it's
more
just
people you
different.
have in an area, the easier it is.
Yeah. Allegedly, we've done it.
yes, it's possibly happened.
There's a bee attacking Carl.
It's possibly happened. I will say out in the, if you're out in the countryside, there's a lot of countryside and like roads that go forever. And
Yeah.
if you want to like top out your car or do that,
yeah.
like you can do that stuff for sure. Like,
This is the area for that.
yeah. And, but
No. You're good, Carl. It's
All
not
right.
attacking.
I'm not trying to get stung by.
Oh no. I mean, of course I would warn you.
Thank you.
I wouldn't.
No, you probably fucking wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Because it's not going to sting you until you hit it, like I did before.
Damn. And I did kind of notice on the highway that there were a lot of cops, but I thought that was just like, oh, it's the end of the month.
Weekend.
yeah,
weekend.
Labor Day
Weekend.
weekend. Yeah. But we have state troopers on the highways all the time. Like it's,
I've been getting lucky on the way here.
yeah, you got no front plate,
Stop.
nothing. You're
Don't.
going 90 miles an hour.
90 miles an hour the whole way.
In the GMT, baby.
Yep.
Doing just straight up 90.
Coppers can't
Allegedly.
get me.
They're like, you know what? He's doing over 70. We can't catch him.
Yeah.
Over 180K.
Yeah.
But damn,
So
but
you guys big football fans?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, me and Kevin, Brent might just go for the beer. I don't know, but
You think that's because you here and you had the Green Bay Packers and everything?
it's
Tradition.
yeah, I think some people like that are into cars around here, they could give two shits about football
Yeah.
or anything. But me and Kevin are probably more of the rare ones, along with like Simba and some of those guys down from Chicago that are big Bears fans. Like it's kind of rare to actually be like deeply into cars and then also like
Yeah,
care about football and like
that's true.
play fantasy football and do all that other shit too. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have no interest in football.
I know you don't.
Yeah.
Like,
you?
I don't think I've ever mentioned. I dabble in football from time to time because it's fun to watch and it like, I don't know, it's fun to just get rowdy at a football game.
Yes.
Or a
Giant Stadium
tailgate.
is like down the street from us, but they use it for
Yeah.
everything now.
They use it for.
Well, they use it for Jets and Giants.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Did you guys ever go to the Supercross there?
no, I didn't. I really want to though.
If they go back next year, you should go.
I
mean,
almost got to
I've
see
never
Taylor
been to
Swift,
Supercross,
but-
but watch it. Yeah, I watch it every year. Watch motocross, and like, if it's that close to you, you should go.
Yeah, I want to. Someone hit me up and was like, "Yeah, we were down and watching Supercross." I was like, "What?" Like they don't market that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't even hear.
You
about
guys
it.
would probably have fun at the Monster Jam when they go there, like the
would
week
definitely do
before or
that.
week after, because it's Feld who owns both of those series. They tie all their Monster Jam and Supercross stuff together, so they like do them a week apart, so that they can save money on renting the stadium and having the dirt in there. But like, yeah, even that stuff. There's a lot of kids, like little kids there and shit, which is like weird to go. But like at the big stadiums, those trucks get so much air, it's crazy.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it. The only thing that was cool about the being next to the stadium was on Sunday, the cops would be busy, so we just go drifting.
I remember, yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, that was like the best thing. It still is. My car just doesn't run, but it's like a
Yeah.
really good.
That would probably be the one time to go around here.
Yeah.
Same reasons, but I'd be too busy watching the game.
We would always just do that after the game on the way home.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do a couple of corners and dip, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You can't hang around for more than like 3 passes
Yeah,
at
yeah.
a spot, and then you have to go.
Yeah. We always call them like that's a 10-minute spot, that's a 30-minute spot, and then you get lucky if it's like an hour. But that was very rare. But there were spots that you could go for an hour, but it was like then you get that one guy with a loud car, and you're like, okay, you just turn this hour spot into a 15-minute spot. So Miyagi,
It's me too.
yeah. Well,
any rotary, like
Yeah.
it's just like, and it's weird. Like I always said, like we would go out and like my car was loud, but with the external wastegate, but I'd be like, I feel like the rotary noise just fucking echoes forever. It was so weird. Like I didn't I didn't understand what it was, but you could tell like it just seemed like it would travel for miles compared to other exhaust notes.
What's like the car scene around here? We kind of, you gave me a preface earlier about it, but it was like, I don't really understand the demographic.
It's weird.
Yes. So it's like there's our group, which is bigger than just us three. There's, you know, we got homies in our group chat. I mean, what, we got 20 people in there, something like that.
No, 15 or 14.
Yeah. And then there's like another group of dudes that also drift at US Air that like have their own little core group. And then there's like the rest of the general population, which is just like, we always joke that everyone's like 10 years behind in car stuff. Like around here, like it's like when Stance was big in the, was that mid 2000s or whatever, it took forever for people to like start doing that here. And by the time it was happening here, it wasn't even in style as much as it used to be, you know, to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's kind of like a lot of like kind of beat VQ cars and like some BMWs and like
Can't get away from
like
this.
Hondas and stuff. And you know, it's pretty much like any place. It's kind of all the same things, you know. But there is like random skylines you'll see here and there. Like someone's got a real JDM like legit car.
That's
and
what
then,
I'm saying. Like, it'll just be like random.
Oh, like the Endless S15 was imported to Green
well,
Bay.
we can get into that.
Yeah. Like, wait.
There's been like people with illegal R34s. The Endless,
Allegedly,
I mean, I don't know who they are.
you know.
Yeah, I don't know. So who cares?
Yeah. So to make a story out of that guy, he was running a broker company with another company or another guy, and they were like importing cars. And this was like down the street from my house, and he had like a white S15 like spec R. He had a Soarer. He had a black twin turbo Supra, and then at one point around like 2008 when everything was like going bankrupt and shit, and all the JDM companies were pulling out of California because they didn't want to have their businesses out there anymore. So Endless was one of those companies, and they were liquidating all their stuff in the USA shop, and they had a track car, like a time attack car that was built by a dude. It was in Super Street and everything, and it was Endless liveried up and had CUS Aero. It was like a real deal. Like it was built very JDM style, but and it was a show and display race car, you know. And so this dude, you know, brokered this car, and it was down the street from my house. And like people were telling me, because they knew I was into cars, and this is when I was in high school, like a senior, like, yeah, I keep seeing this blue like race car at the gas station. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this thing, you know? So finally we go to, you know, one of those nights, like end up at the gas station to get Taco Bell or whatever, and that thing is sitting there. I'm like, holy fuck. Because I was already liked S chassis a lot. I just couldn't really like afford to have one and all that stuff. And I'm like seeing this thing. I start talking with the dude, and he's like, you know, he's nice, but it was like the car. I'm like, how does this? I have the magazine with this car in it, you know, and it's right in front of me. And then, lo and behold, like a few months later, he ends up getting like a black R34 that had like silver TEs on it, and he like rented a shop like in the city here, and he had both those cars. And then all of a sudden, like shit went down, and like, not because of this guy, but the feds showed up for a different reason that I'll get into. And this guy all of a sudden, like, that Endless car ended up in Florida, like sold. Either he sold it before all this, I don't know the full story, but that car got sold. And then all the other cars disappeared. There was rumors going around in the scene that like he dumped all the cars in the Fox River and like all this crazy. I'm like, no way did that happen, you know? So it's like
All the illegal cars end up in Florida.
yeah, so they probably all did, but it was like, yeah, it was kind of hilarious. And if, you know, somebody might be listening and know that whole story, you know, more in depth, but that was just from the outside. Like,
What was the other? You said there was another reason the feds were involved?
so the yellow, you know, the yellow Fast and the Furious, or yellow R33 Skyline from Fast and the
Hell
Furious.
Vince's car?
Yeah.
Like the first one?
Yeah. So that, yep. So that actual car was in our city. This dude bought that car like when it was dilapidated. And I'll back up a little bit. That car started as a drag car, and it was owned by this guy Sean Morris that worked for Motorex. And so that car was a drag car, and then Universal picked that car to be in the movie, and they graphicsed it up, and they only had that one car. They didn't have I don't think they had a stunt car or anything for it. And then that car ended up after the movie, like going and someone's garage or storage or something. And then this guy local here found it, wanted that car forever, found it, was able to buy it, and then rebuilt it to movie spec. Like put the police scanner in it, put the the roll cage, put everything back, got the graphics on it, the Troy Lee graphics on it, and then like did all the shit, put the wheels on it, and he had that car. And around the same time, he bought a midnight purple R33 as well.
I just might as well.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And the yellow Skyline was called Big Bird Skyline, and the midnight purple one, the yellow one wasn't registered, I don't think. And the midnight purple one, he somehow got a title for it by having a state trooper inspect it and then giving him a state title for it. Something like that. I just reread the story like a few weeks ago to kind of bone up on this a little bit. But, and eventually he was trying to sell the cars for some reason. And a Fed was, acted as a buyer and was asking him if he could buy the cars and, if he could get a title for them. And this guy made the mistake of saying like, yeah, you can get a title for it and all this stuff. So then the Feds like jumped on it and they like showed up and they start looking into his two cars. And mind you, this is a separate guy than what I just told the Endless S15 story about. Totally separate guy, same city though. And they show up to look at the cars. He had the on the S13 or Nissans, they have a little plaque on the firewall that just states like, it's got the VIN on it, but also states like where it was built and like all that other shit. He had those off of it because it got painted and he never put them back on. And they were like, well, that's the VIN. You can't take the VIN off. That's illegal. Like that's super illegal. It's a felony, like all this shit.
Yeah.
Mind you,
it's a felony, but that car is not a U.S. car. So it's
yeah.
not.
And mind you, the VIN is stamped in the firewalls on the cars anyway.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I just didn't get time to put those back on.
Yeah.
And then they didn't care. They like seized the cars and he had a bunch of counts against him and it was like a big fight. It was a big fight. And then he was eventually pleading with the city that they should just export the cars to like Canada or something or donate them to a museum or sell them to a museum. Like any way that they could just get money.
They wanted to crush him or something?
And they just want to crush him. And then they ended up just crushing him.
How stupid.
Oh.
Yeah. So they just don't exist anymore. Like his midnight purple one and the Big Bird Skyline from Fast and Furious.
No,
Gone.
the real one.
The real one.
When was this?
10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago.
So this is a while ago.
Yeah, I was in like high school, so it was probably like 2008.
And
I never heard that story before.
Yeah. If you to get the full scope, if you Google Big Bird Skyline crushed or like Fast and the Furious R33 crushed or whatever, like you'll find a bunch of articles like from Car and Driver and like a whole bunch of like legitimate publications that like wrote about all this because it was like, this one guy against the government, trying to and
Just save the cars.
yeah,
Like, he didn't even care.
At one point, at the end, he was like, I just whatever, like fuck everything. I don't care about the money anymore. Like I just don't want the cars crushed. And the city and the Feds were like, no, crushing them, and they just crushed them.
That sucks. And to think that, the car scene here is just random.
Well,
Yeah,
like
this
that's
big
but,
thing
but
happened.
that's like that was the craziest shit that happened in like forever. But it was like otherwise, it's like this scene was when I got into it was mostly just street racing, and it was like WS6 Trans Ams and Evos and GSXs and GSTs and
What's a WS6?
Hondas.
Is that the Jelly Bean one?
that
The
would
big
be
one?
like
A Trans Am, right? Like a 90s one?
like a
yes.
late 90s, early 2000s.
The one that's behind us on the highway?
Oh, with the fucking
And then you raised up the
the
fucking...
nostrils. Fucking.
He's like,
yeah.
Yeah, we were listening to hood, like not hood music, but I love 80s, like, would you call that techno? I don't know. It was like disco type of music, but at night,
what you
that,
call it.
that music fucking hits. And I'm
Oh,
like,
house
damn.
music is probably what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like-
I mean, at one point, that Endless car did go to US Air to like a Club of Fire drift day, and he tried to drift it. He also tried to street drift it once at one point and smoked the rim. It was like a really nice, like deep dish raise. Yeah. Can't remember
That's
what
a
they are, but
Graham
they're
Light
like the-
57 Pro, I think.
It was a 5-spoke one.
Yep, it's a Graham Light 57 Pro. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite wheels ever, and I think it might be just because I remember that car.
Did you have that wheel, Carl?
No. What's funny is the other Carl with a K, I'm going to see him, he has them.
Oh.
There's another Carl with a K that's from around this area, and he has an IS.
I don't
He's
know
part
why
of
you
the
always
drift-
have to say with a K.
It's wildly important. Okay,
Yeah,
now
you're
now
wild.
it just shows that you don't get it.
I don't get it.
You don't because your name's Frankie and you're boring.
Oh, okay.
Get with the Carl with the K, dude. You're just mad.
It's only one way to spell Frankie.
Can you spell it any other
No,
way?
you can literally spell it too.
There's probably a weird one out there.
Yeah, it's
with
Y.
with a Y.
Yeah.
Is your birth name Frank?
Francis.
Oh,
This guy knows more than I know.
I still listen to the podcast.
That's awesome.
They're my Thursday get through work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be weird to hear yourself on it?
I'm not gonna listen to this one.
it's probably gonna be the worst one, anyways.
Wait, why do you think the reason is that you guys are 10 years behind in it? Is there no internet here?
Internet?
To me, I just think it's Midwest is always with anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter.
This cars come out of here, dude. Like, look, shit.
Yeah, but that's because we know people from Chicago. Maybe I don't know, or maybe we're just nerds enough. I mean, it's not. I'm just generalizing too. I'm not saying it's like there isn't people that don't get it. You know, I mean, those two people I just talked about that had that those stories were about. You know, they were clearly very into JDM cars and like had legit stuff. You know,
I feel like they had those cars here so that they thought no one would find them.
No, I don't know. I think they're all from here,
Yeah.
but
I actually found out about drifting in like 2007, 2008. But that was because of playing Forza, and I just joined a random lobby.
Yeah.
And then I was just like playing
Forza 4.
No, this was 2.
Forza 2?
Yeah.
I didn't even know
You
that
said
existed.
07, 08. I don't know if I've ever played Forza 2. I
It might
played
have been
Forza
earlier
4.
than that. I played Forza 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Xbox
That
original.
was a 360.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Not that old.
Forza 1 was on the original Xbox.
I did play the Forza 1 game. I remember that. Yeah, I remember when that came out, I think.
But yeah, I just joined a random lobby, and they were drifting, and it was actually Ryan Literal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to play Xbox with him a lot.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
There's a joke in our Discord right now because I pronounced that guy's name so wrong. I thought it was Literal for the longest time. Just because I feel like it'd be cool, you know? Ryan Literal. It's actually literal, and I'm like, fuck, I feel like an idiot.
But yeah,
Yo,
then
Latrell.
I saw that going on, and I was interested. Started talking to them, and then they introduced me because like they're all West Coast dudes. So then they introduced me to like option video and all this other stuff. And so then I started like watching drifting, and then I wanted to buy an RX-7 for my first car, and then I ended up with a DC2 Integra.
A little different.
I still love the Integra.
Yeah.
They're like the perfect daily.
I love you, Kevin.
Did you drift it?
No,
That sounds like a weird question, but
no, I didn't even try.
okay.
I had a DC2 as well. It was black. It was probably, I would call that my first car because I had a car before that and it was just hell. It was an Audi A4 that I bought for $2,000. But that DC2 Integra, great car. Tons of space. And like VTEC, when you're not really a very seasoned motorist, like that shit sounds sick. You're like, ah, just don't fucking. But like parts were cheap. I took the
Yeah.
car mainly to autocrosses and like up into the mountain a few times. And like I had AC in there. Sunroof would tilt, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like a slide out. Like it would and go back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Great car. Was yours a GSR?
No,
Oh, I do know the sunroof you're talking about.
Yeah. I had a.
that,
I was
he does
fortunate.
the same thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have the GSR, and like I searched for that car. My dad helped me really bad. We found it on eBay. It was in Connecticut. The guy like broke his leg, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't drive this anymore." And gave him $3,700 for it. It was rust free, super aero straight, black.
Yeah, I think I only owned mine for like 6 months, and then I sold it and bought an FC.
Ooh, quick with it. Would you say it's because of when you got into Forza and stuff like that, that the Integra wasn't going to do any of that? So you're like, I'm done.
Yeah,
All right. Very quick and easy answer. But no, I like that you asked if you drifted it because Josh from Revgasm, Josh, we just had a podcast with him where he talked about how that's how he literally learned how to do
Yeah,
entries.
very unique story that I don't think anyone's going to relate to at
Like
all.
he was practicing entries with front wheel drives, dude.
yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you pull that handbrake, whoo, you don't have the throttle
Yeah.
to correct. You're literally just getting the car to like, you
Cool
know,
that he had the idea to do that.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I just think that that's insane. But I think it's funny that you asked Kevin if he drifted it.
Yeah, well, I was like, hey, I don't know, maybe it's a Midwest thing. I don't know.
I
Drifting.
mean, we would do shit like that with front wheel drive, but it was in the snow and we didn't even know we were drifting.
Yeah, I
I
think Josh was saying he did it in the snow too.
we were just having fun, like
Yeah.
screwing around.
How'd you get into drifting, Matt?
Basically, I mean, I seen it in magazines like when I was a kid, like around when Fast and Furious and stuff came out. You would like see the D1 USA like events in the magazines and stuff. I didn't know how to get into it. It didn't exist here, like although I guess it did. I just didn't know that.
Yeah, it was
and
a
then
small little group.
yeah, and like always liked those cars, and then but when I got my license, like at that point, my sister had a Integra, like the first gen one, like with the
Boxy one?
yeah, she had one of those that was all done up. Like she bought it from her boyfriend at the time. It was white wheels, like blue interior. The thing was like super immaculate, and I was like, JDM cars are like the shit, So I really liked that car, and then like Fast and the Furious and all that stuff, and then
You were like, I gotta be Brian. Let me get it.
who didn't want to be that guy? At the
Yeah,
time?
dude, that car was sick.
But then I like got really into DSMs, and then had a couple of those in high school and everything, and friends did too, and we liked going to the street races and shit and all that stuff. Didn't really race. I think I raced like one time with my buddy, but it was for fun.
You had a GST?
I had a non-turbo ESI Talon 95.
Oh.
It was sick.
Oh.
I put a 2GB Eclipse front bumper and side skirts on it. And then I had replica RE30 wheels on it. It was sick. Lowered on Eibach, lowering springs. And then after I graduated high school, though, I did buy a Talon TSI all-wheel drive
That's
and like
the one.
fix that up. That was like that was a 96, so same body style as my 95. And that car was a pile of shit. And we made it look as good as we could, me and my dad. And then this kid had an S13 for sale, and he was trying to trade it, and I traded him, even though everybody told me not to do it. And the car was a complete pile of shit. It was leaking oil all over the place. Like it was
The S13 was a pile of shit.
Yeah, both cars were really not that nice.
Okay.
But I really wanted an S13 because at this point I'm like, I really want to like get into building one of those cars. And because I think I had gone to Weekfest in Chicago around this time. So I was like, okay, I finally saw real legitly built cars. Like I didn't even know it, but I saw OG Risky Devil at the time, with their cars were all there. I saw
Was Josh there with the 1918 Stagger?
Yes, it was that car. It was
Yeah.
the chrome wheels, like the whole deal. And
I can
then,
see that ruining your life.
yeah,
Like,
and then
now I
like
need to drift.
Damon was there with his S13 at the height of his Zilvia,
Oh, yeah.
build. Didn't know that. I took pictures of all these cars. Didn't even know who these people were. And then went home and I'm like, well, fuck these DSMs. Like I need an S13,
Yeah.
And then so I took like all my graduation money. I had bought the TSI with the graduation money, and then like had that for the summer, the TSI, and then towards the end of summer, I was like, all right, I'm getting an S13. I'm gonna trade this dude. Traded him. I was hyped on it. Get home, the car's leaking oil all over the place. My dad is absolutely irate because he's just like, he is like, what the fuck did you just do? And he's like, you got to trade back. And I'm like,
You're gonna trade it back.
so I'm like, oh my God, you're right, I do. And then so I'm driving back and I call the kid, and the kid's like, well, we already traded like and signed titles and shit.
Yeah.
And then the kid's like brother gets on and goes, he ain't trading you back. It's a done deal. Like it's already, like, and I'm like, what the fuck? So then I'm pissed, even though there's nothing I can do. We go,
Your dad was like, go trade it back.
dude. Yeah. The whole thing. My dad's awesome, but it was just one of those dad moments, and he's just like, trying to look out for me, I guess. But,
Yeah.
we go back to the gas station and I'm calling the kid. He's not answering. Finally, I pull a Karen, call a cop. Cop comes there. He talks to us. He goes, man, I can't. do
Yeah, I
nothing
kind of
for you."
can't do anything.
You're
Can't-
fucked.
He's like, I can't do anything for you, man. I'm really sorry. He's like, here's his address. He's like, don't tell anybody I gave that to you.
What the-
Allegedly. That sounds like a big allegedly.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Obviously. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm just screwed, So then I went home with that car, tail between my legs, and just sold it like a week later to this guy I knew for like $500. Like
Oh, wow.
lost a bunch of money. Just
Was it
'cause-
just a plain Jane S13?
yeah, it was
Hey,
like it was like stock, but it had a bunch of weird shit. Like the key wouldn't come out of the ignition, which is like a pretty common thing with those cars. But I didn't know anything about it, and like it was leaking oil really bad, and like it had a bunch of other random stuff done to it. Then this guy bought it that I sold it to for like $500. So I lost basically all my graduation money and lost the TSI, all this stuff on the car. Very learning moment. And then this guy drove it for a little bit, sold it to some other people, and sold it to some other people, all people I knew. And I learned later on that car was a complete pile of junk, and like it's good thing none of that ever worked out, because it was never worth anything anyway. And then after this whole deal, I went back to driving my ESI, got a regular like Chevy Cobalt that I tried to stance out and everything. Looked like a total nerd.
A what? I'm sorry.
A Chevy Cobalt.
Okay, I thought I heard you.
Real. I put like XXRs on it, lowered in the coil. It's like, oh yeah, this is a bad time in my life.
Edit that part out.
All right, we're back after
technical
quick little break and technical difficulties. I think we lost a camera. Did we lose a camera?
No, now we got it back.
Okay, we got it back.
Yeah.
And now we're back. We have Brent, because I'm gonna pick on Brent now because you've been quiet.
Well, do we want to finish
And
the
very
Cobalt
behaved.
story, or do you want to?
Oh,
wait.
yeah, Cobalt.
Oh shit, that's right. XXR Cobalt. Yo, you're good. You're a trained
not to dig my
podcaster.
own grave on that.
My brain is already fucking
But
thinking about Little Caesars earlier.
Little Caesars? That's what you're trying to eat tonight?
I got some in the fridge, baby.
Dude, Zap Pack. I want to try that out. Do you know what the Zap Pack is?
I'm going to die on this trip.
What?
Okay. Damien from Car Shop Karoshi. Sorry, tangent. He said that there's something behind the counter.
Wait.
Shut up.
It's the ice cream truck.
I don't care. I'm
You guys keep that
lactose.
conversation.
hear
real.
I'm lactose.
Frankie is running towards the street to try to find the ice cream truck.
Dude, the ice cream truck is going to run away from Frankie because he's getting charged at by a full-grown adult. What the hell were we talking about?
You're talking about some
Zap Pack,
secret food item.
Secret food item. Okay, so there's something called a Zap Pack, and it's like a seasoning packet, and it's behind the counter, and you got to ask for it. It's there, though. Damien from Car Shop Karoshi.
Is that Little Caesars?
This is at Little Caesars. Yeah, dude. Are you interested? Should we cut right now? No, I'm just kidding. But I need to hear about this Cobalt because
He looks
that.
defeated.
Wow, he does really. Yeah, you're sad? Are you sad?
No.
No, we're not.
Did you see my Mission Impossible run?
Yeah.
That was the best Tom Cruise run I've ever seen.
We'll get him. He's around this area.
But that Cobalt is a car that I feel like every time I run into one on the road, it's just like the worst batch of mods I've ever seen done.
Until you run into an SS and then you get smoked.
Yeah. Okay, was it one of those?
No, it's both like fucking base model stick shift.
Holy
Here's what
shit.
happened. I had the Talon ESI, screwed up the whole deal with the all-wheel drive one and the first S13 I ever bought, and I needed to go to college. I needed a car to go back and forth, right? So I was driving my Talon a little bit, and then I was saving up a bunch of money because I was like, I really need. My dad's like, you should really get a nice, reliable, like newer car, and not driving this car from 1990.
Oh, that's crazy.
So-
I heard the same thing.
So then I was like, yeah, you're right. So I was really trying to buy like a Scion TC because I was like, but it was like at the time just a little bit out of my budget. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I guess Cobalts are all right, but it's GM. Like I don't really want American like sport compact car, and whatever. Ended up finding like one that was really good shape. Like only a couple of years. This is when you could buy an Econobox car with a stick shift for not a lot of money. That was only a couple
color
of years.
was it?
Burnt orange, like that metallic burnt orange.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Racer color, too.
That's kind of cool.
So it was for sale in Milwaukee. Me and my old man, we went down and bought it. And then whatever, had like a nice stock car. And then I proceeded to buy like wheels and tires for it, coilovers, like dumb shit like that. Like, I'm going to try to stance it, make it all hella flush. I had all the stickers on it, the Illis, the Fat Lace, all the shit on it. I had the whole 9 yards.
Oh, man.
And
What
drove
stickers are on the back glass?
those ones I named. And then like, man, I don't even remember.
I feel
had,
like a shocker sticker.
no, I didn't have any of that stuff.
No.
Not a shocker sticker?
And then like, so I had that car, and then I met our mutual friend Ryan, who was already into drifting, had a AE86 Corolla, and he had an S14 like daily, but I didn't really like get into drifting or anything. And then other mutual friend of ours bought an S13 while he was in high school, and like I heard about this kid had an S13, so I knew his mutual friends or something. And I was like, yo, come to my house. I want to see your car. And he was like, okay. So he comes over with this S13 Type X. It was built by TF like a long ass time ago. And I was like, holy fuck, I got to get into one of these cars. Like, I still love these cars. And he meets another guy, and he meets Ryan, like totally separate from me meeting Ryan. And he ends up at US Air to attend a drift event. And then I found out about that. And then I went up there and attended my first drift event. And then next thing you know, I was like, I got to get a drift car. And by this point, I was out of college. I had a regular job and was looking around for cars. I was looking at ISs. I was looking at Zs. And the FRS had just come out. And when you looked at if you wanted to buy a really nice example of an IS or a Z at the time, it was almost the same or more for a payment on that versus an FRS. So I bought an FRS, and then that's just how I ended up with that car and started going to drift events and modding that car and everything. And it was like weird because I went from a car that like sucked and I probably looked like a fool, and then like had like a kind of legit JDM car, although brand new, and start building that.
Well, that was a good, like, they hailed that car when it came out. Like, there was a lot of like people who were anticipating that car. Like, do you remember when the FRS came out?
Yeah.
It was like a big deal.
It was a big deal.
It was a rear-wheel drive sports car, or affordable sports car, and then boom, there you go.
And I had no idea about any of that. Like, I didn't know that there was all this development and like teaser shots for years in the forums of like all this stuff. I just was like, I just need a rear-wheel drive car I can daily drive to work and but like put parts on and make cool. And that thing fit the bill. And that's just, and then I like, while I had it, I was like, oh, well, shit. If I just build this like an S13, it should look pretty cool.
I'm going to send Carl a photo right now of your car because I want him to understand how sick this thing was. Yeah, you styled it like very S13 / early 2000s, the best way you could without making it weird.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like it was funny because there used to be a forum on a website called JDM Chicago, and that was like the last forum for that stuff from that time period. And like before that, there was like one called like CA240SX, which I was never on, but guys that I'm friends with, that's where they like learned about car styling and all that shit. Obviously there was Zilvia and all this other stuff. And I think there's Zip Tide and everything, which I was not on, but I believe this man was
I may logged on
That's
one
been
time.
mentioned so many times during this.
I used to
trip.
go on like all those sites and just read forum posts when I got my FRS, like, because I was obsessed with it, right? Mm-hmm. So I found like, all these guys that I saw at US Air all posted on here, and they have all their build threads, and I would just read every day at work, at lunch or whatever, and just read and read and read and just study and read all this stuff. And then I was like, okay, I should be able to like do this with this car, and I should be able to like do that with this car. But that car, the FRS, didn't have all those parts. Mm-hmm. It didn't have big flared out kits. It didn't have, all this cool stuff.
It really didn't have anything.
No, it was brand new on the scene. Like, so every Tokyo Auto Salon, I'm like I would go through all the photos and try to see if anybody came out with shit that was like for like stuff that would be on this car.
Yeah.
And I was always hugely disappointed.
Yeah. I feel like there's still not too many things.
I feel like they're
is
doing
better,
it more though.
Yeah, yeah.
And I kind of think David doing his kit is what that thing took off a lot. And I think that's why you see companies like Uras and Origin dip their toes into that again, because they're like, wait, people want that on these cars? They don't want lip kits?
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
And they're like, shit.
They don't want to make them look modern?
Yeah, like, to me, it was insane. BN Sports, when I heard they were making a kit, I was like, this is it.
Yep.
Here we go. And then I saw it, and I was like,
What the fuck?
what the fuck?
Yeah, everyone
like-
thought the same thing.
I was like, I was just like, this is so disappointing. I was like, God damn it. Because like even back then, BN and Uras were like my favorite brands. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, even back then I wanted that stuff, but it just didn't exist. So then I like kind of just made it work. Like I made my own GT kit because Uras had one, but it was expensive to import stuff. Like I didn't know Jesse Streeter and stuff at the time. I didn't like know to use that. I was using other middleman websites that were charging an arm and a leg, to like import that stuff. So I was like, I can't really get a whole kit.
And even then, it was like a lip kit, right, that they had or something? Like,
Yeah, well, Uras was like a lip, which I had, but I didn't buy the side skirts and like the rear spats.
Yeah. And now they have a full kit.
Yeah, when they came out with that, I photoshopped one to make it look how I would build one, and people were like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Like, damn, that looks really sick." Because they didn't. People were dogging on it when that first came out. They're like, "Oh, I don't know,
yeah.
the angles don't work, and I don't know if the rear bumper." And I photoshopped one with better wheels, GT wing, Ghana doors, all the whole 9 yards of what you would do to an S chassis. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, this is sick." And I'm like, "Well, that's just the recipe.
Yeah,
it's the same on every car."
Yeah, you can't just throw the body kit on and with a stock setup and be like, yeah, that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta execute the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's more parameters to be met.
Yeah. But no, dude, I loved your car. I think yours was probably one of the first cars that I saw, and I was like, oh, maybe you can make this car cool. Because I never thought those cars. I mean, I thought the BRZ looked good in stock form with the front bumper. The FRS I thought was fucking hideous.
You're high, dude. The
front
FRS was nice.
I had no interest in that front end, but then
I was always jealous of the roundness of the BRZ front bumper because it didn't have the fangs like the FRS did.
yeah, that weird look.
But I didn't want to drive a Subaru branded car. I wanted the Toyota shit. So I was like,
Yeah.
Whatever, made it work.
I was for a minute thinking I was going to buy one of those, and I was like, I want the Toyota, but I want the BRZ because it looks better.
Yeah,
But I want the Toyota.
And it's funny because they're the exact same cars. You could literally change the badges on them, and it wouldn't even know.
But now I feel like it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Now the GR86 is the good looking one, and the BRZ is the kind of weird looking one.
Yeah.
So
Shocker, Toyota reigned high in
you
that
sure?
situation.
Because they didn't do anything to build the car.
Absolutely nothing. But speaking of Toyota, Brent, because you've been silent this whole time, and I want to know how you also got into drifting. Because is this your same car that you've had?
Yeah, basically.
Why was I not surprised at that? Because I feel like you would. I feel like I get a vibe that you're gonna probably keep that thing for quite a long time. I don't think
Until
it's
it
probably
gets
gonna go
smashed up,
anywhere.
and,
Yep.
it's
How'd you
not
get
going
into
anywhere.
drifting though?
Basically went up to track in Shawano a couple times, spectated, and did a couple of ride-alongs with buddies, and said I need to find a fucking car right now. I think 2 weeks later, I was searching around Craigslist and shit, and I found that thing down in Chicago with 50,000 miles on it. Went and got it the next day, pretty much.
Fuck, that's actually a really nice car. Probably.
Yeah, I bought it on New Year's Eve. Yeah. Yep. Yep. There was a bunch of underlying stuff that happened with it, though. Like the gas tank inside of it was all rusted out when I bought it.
Oh.
And it ended up clogging all the injectors. It ran like piss.
Okay, never
couple
mind.
weeks after.
Let me take that comment back really quick. No, I'm just
But
kidding.
I think it just must have sat somewhere for God knows how long.
Huh.
But other than that, it's clean.
And then you just, I'm assuming, welded? Or did you stay LSD? Or
I had the stock LSD in it for a while. Then I went to a welded. Now I'm on a two-way.
that switch of the diff, in my opinion, in that car is the most important thing you could do. Actually, in any car. Because if you think about it, if it's not laying the power down the way that you want it to, then your drifting is just going to be completely inconsistent almost,
Oh, the stock Torsen was terrible.
Yeah,
I hated it. It would unlock randomly, fucking one wheel peel, unpredictable as shit.
So did you start doing, actually, this is more, I guess, a question to all of you. Did you guys all start doing the whole, let me do donuts first, and then let me do figure eights, and then go advance from there? How was the route for that for you guys?
I mean,
say,
they make you go out on the skid pad and do figure eights at your first Club FR event.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Did you know that, Frankie?
No, I don't even know where the skid pad is.
It's
Parking
the
lot.
parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait. Of US Air?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, regular drift days are not final bout.
Yeah. I
So
wanted
there's
to come
room
up here
out
for a
there.
normal one. One of the, I think they're called jams. No.
Just drift day.
Drift Day, DDs.
Yeah.
And yeah, Frankie thought I was crazy because I would make this drive again.
Well, no, it's worth it for a certain event, I guess. But just
I
to
just
come out
wanna-
for a random drift day, I'm like, that's a bit excessive. But
Rio Bash is a good
that
one.
would be
Yeah.
one that I would think. Yeah, the timeline is kind of annoying with that, but
I just wanted to experience a track. To me, Final Bout is it is for a lot of people the purpose, right? It's the culmination of a bunch of stuff that we all like in one spot. like, and from people from all over the world, world and the country, nonetheless. I had to remember that it's the world now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's why I like it, and that's why I would want to come back to the track. So if that was like where I was drifting first, that's like our equivalent of like English
I
Town.
really do think it's the same thing.
Because
that track's amazing.
that track is sick. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. If that was like at my disposal and stuff, I don't know. Maybe the progression would be a little bit different because it's way more challenging. Like, if you're at the bottom of one of those turns and you try to look over it, it's pretty steep. The video never gets it correct at all. And like, it's pretty steep. So like, I don't know how you guys were drifting there as like your first place,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
but the skid pad thing is cool.
Yeah. But you start out on intermediate course, which is like, so when you first drive out of the pits, you go to the right.
Yep.
That's the start of intermediate.
Okay.
It's all flat, but
Oh.
it's harder on the car than advanced courses.
Why would you say that?
You're on the gas a lot. It's a lot of power over drifting.
That sounds fun as hell.
Dude, that whole fucking place is so good. Like, I'm just thinking about the track right now, and like every area is cool. Like, that intermediate section is really fun,
Really
but
fun
it's flat.
drifting.
But then the other side is like insane, like the things that you can do. So it's got like two different, like you said, it's like two different
Yeah.
tracks in one.
Yeah, and you can stack up really well on intermediate course.
Mhm.
Advanced, like when they have it laid out normally, you like come off the balcony and then instead of like continuing to the right back to the pits, you don't do that. You go to the left.
Okay, yeah.
And then you just like you switch
Yeah, I've
back
done
and
that.
forth really quickly over and over again. So like you can like stack up across the balcony and then in the last corner. And
Yeah.
then the other ones you're just like behind the person.
And sometimes they do like full course, right?
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
That sounds rowdy as fuck.
Yeah, it
Anytime
is.
you hear the word full course, have you guys driven English Town yet? I think,
No.
dude.
Have you
know-
guys drifted any other tracks yet? Mike.
Yeah, we went to AutoMass.
Automass?
Automass. Oh, that's what Toge Factory Dave was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So-
It was a parking lot event, right?
So there was two different automasses at one point. There was the OG automass, which was in the parking lot of Toyota Park, I think. If I'm
Yeah.
we didn't go to that. That was a little bit before we might have been driving events here, but we didn't go down there or anything. And then they brought Automass back a few years ago. We were at Autobahn, which is a private country club road course in Joliet, and they have a skid pad, and we were able to do the event there, and we all drove down there. I did it 2 years in a row, and the second time these guys all came with. I don't know if Brent came with, but Kevin was down there.
Yeah.
Oh, something happened.
What were you guys? Are you guys familiar with everything? All right, Malcolm.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys familiar with the word? Like, does this ring a bell at all? Tire rack.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a track that was at the tire rack facility. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was crazy because that was mentioned when we were talking to
Breaking.
That's OG.
Breaking?
That's OG.
Super
That's like,
OG spot.
yeah,
I
that's like,
saw that on my way home one time from Final Bout.
that's like early 2000s. Like those guys trying to find a track to drive at, and tire rack let them go there, and then eventually I think they got kicked out. I never drove this track, but we went. But Road America used to have a few events
Yep.
as well.
Oh yeah, we heard.
Because they have a kart track like similar to USA, not up and down, but it's like similar and as far as width of the track and everything.
Yeah.
And there was a few events there. I went to one in 2013, but I wasn't there to drive or anything, and spectated. And I was really hoping we could go back, but other people I talked to said the track wasn't really that fun. So
What are the speeds like in that?
it was similar to like intermediate. It wasn't super high speed.
So you guys got to go to E-Town.
I think so. Because like
we would probably die, but you know.
I'm trying to gather everyone so that maybe we can try to get all the people who want to drive E-Town and stuff and give everyone like a reason to come there.
Yeah.
Because it is fun. Like I look at other tracks and then yes, sometimes I'll think in my head, I'm like, yeah, but damn, E-Town I guess has that too.
E-Town's got like a little bit of elevation change, which is nice. So it's like comparable, like not comparable to US Air, but it's like something that's kind of similar.
Well, then what's the track at the drag strip? Or is
That's
this,
just a figure 8 track they
is
built.
this all the same facility?
Yes.
Like the dirt bike tracks there and
Yes.
everything? And like, okay.
So they built that mainly for Formula Drift.
Okay.
Yeah, just so that they had somewhere to come, and it's really because of the grandstands. So, but we don't really.
It's like the Thunderdome in there.
Yeah, yeah. They don't do Club Loose doesn't drive in that track because I mean, it's fucking dangerous for one. Like there's walls everywhere. But
So like the video I see, like by the you guys say they call it like the tree turn or something.
yeah,
like,
tree
with
turn
Josh
that's
and,
on the
like-
main track.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, E-Town is more like front track, back track. Back track is kind of where you start. It's a little shorter. There's some elevation there too. The second turn is pretty hard to link. So that's kind of why they put every one back there because they want them to struggle. The front track is faster, depending on where you start on grid, obviously, but the fast track, the front track is faster and you have the bank. So it's definitely like more exciting than the back one, but yeah.
I don't know. We have US Air, which is obviously like one of the top or the top grassroots tracks or whatever. But then that's like kind of it. Like otherwise, there's events at some big road courses and stuff like down at Autobahn. They'll do like Grid Life will do stuff there, but you got to be invited or something like that. And it's hard to drift some of those big tracks like that. And then like otherwise, the only stuff that goes on around here is like some circle tracks have some events. Which
how far is like drift indie stuff from you guys?
I mean that'd be in
Like-
Indiana. So like what?
No,
Yeah,
it's more
Depending on where it is in Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a pretty big trip to do that.
Yeah, I think when braking comes up here, like from Fort Wayne, it's like
They were talking to us about that.
it's like 8 hours for
7-8 hours. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Derek was saying 7 hours is the furthest.
That's
I
his
could-
cap to street
That-
drive something.
Yeah, to street drive.
That's like
That's the funny thing is that like, we live 30 minutes from US Air, so it's like we're super spoiled. So
You are spoiled, but it also sucks that there's nowhere else to go. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So,
'Cause- and I'm
like,
thinking about a speed aspect.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the next highest speed thing to do would be Autobahn.
Okay.
If we did something higher speed, and we could probably drive that if we wanted to, like, but it's never really. I mean, we're Midwest, we're second gear, right? So it's like, we just
Yeah, I
have-
know. Yeah, I was trying to beat around the bush with that joke, but yeah, I wanted
What-
to see
I mean-
if you guys had anywhere to go that you can go faster.
Yeah. Not that this would answer. It wouldn't help with that but it would be cool to go down to Texas.
Yeah.
Or like
Oh, that's what I want to do too.
Musselman in Arizona. Like
Oh, I didn't even know about that. You got to tell me about that.
it's
every
like
event's at night.
yeah.
In Arizona, this is at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would love it. You
what
love
track?
Arizona.
I
right?
love Arizona.
Yeah. So it's
I'm
at
going
called Musselman Circuit. Is it like Honda?
Yeah, it's Musselman Honda Circuit.
Musselman Honda Circuit. So like I know AJ when he lived down there drove there a lot. Rick
Okay.
with the purple
Yeah.
GZX 90.
Okay.
He drives that a lot.
Damn.
Matt Panic and them drove that a lot too when they lived down there.
When he was living down there.
But that's a super cool track, I guess.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody from that area up here this weekend, you can talk to him about that. But you would probably be super down. I know Modelo Jones, he drove down there with his JZX and drove that track too. And but it'd be cool to like go down there. Like obviously in the winter we can't do shit up here, so it's like it'd be cool to like go down to one of these southern areas and like do that. I know Mid Pond's actually like that's coming up too. Like everyone's going to Mid Pond all the time now, right? And driving that track.
Yeah. That's Carl's going down there in November.
October, yeah.
October.
They're doing a trip to the pond. Never been there. I think shit said it was like 17 or 16 hours.
That's more like a slower track too, like US Air. No elevation.
I've played it on Assetto. I don't know if you guys dabble in Assetto Corsa at all or any sims or anything like that. But I played it on there and like Daryl, my buddy's drifted down there as well. So like I get to talk to him about it. He did it in his NA2J as like in an SC. So it's like a lot of like fast, slow, like fast, slow, like short straights, long straights. This motherfucking B.
like tight turns.
Yeah, tight turns. And since
Yeah.
the track is like narrow, I feel like it's sick because if you're tandeming with somebody, it's super easy to expect where that next person is going to go. And I feel like that brings some sort of excitement because it's like you have to go that way. So what are you going to do to make the car go that way? So to me, that's what makes it exciting. And the fact that there's a body of water literally in the middle of the track where there's ducks and shit and a paddle boat, you're drifting around it. Like I don't know. I think it looks cool. And also that the facility is like very catering
Okay.
to drifting. Like the owner Ken likes it. Like
I feel like I've never seen the track, maybe a couple pictures here and there, and for some reason I just immediately compare it to intermediate at US Air. I don't know why. I think from the few
Maybe.
pictures I saw, I was like, I feel like it would be like that. Like
Yeah.
still tight corners, but a little bit longer, flat.
And fast. Like quick.
Yeah, there's
in
some
terms
sections that are fast.
like in terms of where you like your hands and your reaction should be quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because of the line maybe that you have to take or what have you. But
I feel like we cut off the whole IS story.
Oh yeah, we hijacked that.
I was
Yeah.
probably gonna go back to that, but I figured I kind of knew where that was. So, because you said you ran that factory Torsen for a little while, and like we have a few people on the podcast who have ISs and stuff, and those are the people that'll say like IS over S chassis because I
That's
came from S
insanity.
chassis, and like what would you tell your younger self that you should have done to the car, like right from the get go? Do you have any advice for those people?
Put a 1J in it.
Yeah.
1J right away.
Yep. I know. That's a tough one, honestly.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, there's that formula. It's like the diff, the seat, so you're not sloshing around and
For
shit.
sure.
Yeah.
I would honestly say good coilovers with proper spring rates
Huh.
was the best thing I've ever done to it.
Okay. Not the welded. Once I switched to the welded diff, the IS was so much better to me.
Oh, it definitely was.
Like
More
it was just
predictable.
way better to drive, and like I'm still on stock power, mainly just because when I turn it on, it turns on, and that's all I could ask for.
Right.
Because it's not going to get me anywhere very fast. But you went to a 1J
Yep.
first, right? Or after you got tired of the GE?
Yes, I did.
What was that like? Like, did you get the engine from a depot?
Yeah.
Why did Kevin just smile? Was this a bad experience?
Yeah.
Not the best.
Which engine?
Wait.
It's been on about 3 of them now.
Oh,
And the last one started on fire.
that,
Final about 4, it lit on fire.
which is crazy because I feel like everyone preaches that engine is like, oh, it's so easy. Slap it in, go.
It was more a tuning problem, I
Yeah.
believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuel pressure was dropping in boost and couldn't really see it, and it fried the shit.
It wasn't on like a stock ECU anymore. It was on.
It was on stock ECU with just SAFC on it.
Oh, okay. Honestly, that SAFC might have fucked you.
Oh, guaranteed.
Those
Put
older.
it on link and then got it tuned, and then 2 weeks later it was blown up. So
Wow.
it had a bunch of shit on the dyno that was doing random shit. It basically tuned it out.
But once you got it, it was good.
Yep.
Damn.
So, but what happened to the other ones? There was 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So after the one,
But that was the one that was on fire.
After the 1J, we put just a basically old block that was in our buddy's old SC. It was a non-VVTi 2J block.
Oh yeah.
And I got 2 events out of that one. Second one at final about 6, I cracked 3 of the piston ring lens, and all the blow-by shot the oil out of the head breather all over my turbo exhaust and lit up.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah.
Final about 4. This is 6.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a big failure. And then what happened after that? So you were just like, I'm done. I'm getting a brand new block. I'm
Yep.
getting ahead.
Yeah,
And
but-
then now you're here.
I got a brand new block, and I just got the head machined and slapped it together, and now here I am.
Were you guys?
Got
Were
it
you
retuned.
always into like the style? Because that's pretty styled up. Not like a lot of other ISs are. Like it's higher. That's one, I guess. Because I feel like all ISs are on the ground, not by choice. Because of the way that the knuckle setup is, and depending on what suspension you're running. So what do you have on the front now?
I'm running reverse knuckle.
A what?
Reverse knuckle. It's
Oh. Okay.
It's a brand.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you, Frankie.
I can't even hear, but I'm
Honestly.
just looking. I'm like, I know. Yeah. No, I know.
Isn't that Kazuya's brand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reverse knuckle.
I'm enticed.
Does it mean you can go reverse?
It's pretty much a poor translation from what I got out of it.
okay.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh.
that I don't even know the pronunciation of the guy.
How the hell did you
because
get these?
I know he got Ryan his. He, got
Alpha
them
Project
from Kazuya.
Imports is who I got them through. They're fucking wild.
The knuckles?
Yeah, I had to raise my card. That's why it's higher right now. I had to raise it because the wheels were hitting everything at lock.
Jesus.
It's like dumb.
Okay, maybe that doesn't entice me as much.
Oh,
I
it's
like a more
like
mild.
crazy amount.
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed the car was kind of taller, but well, you have the 35 millimeter extended lowers, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's why the fenders are wide and everything.
Crack got wide. Interesting. But I always ask that question because I feel like a lot of the bolt-on solutions, they do the same thing.
Yep.
But is that one like a one piece? Because I'm assuming.
A welded factory ball joint.
Yeah. Okay. Do you enjoy that more
I
than
prefer
if you were
that
to?
more than any like the easy knuckle style stuff. I just heard of people not having.
That's
such
what I have on my.
good
I have a
luck
drift
with them.
HQ one. But I like it because I could service the ball joint pretty
Yeah,
easily.
for sure. But
Yeah. I do them like every season. Like I'll just do it. Quick ball joint. It's like $50.
Carl,
Yeah.
your car is like way different as far as driving setup than his, I feel like.
Way different.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
why I'm asking. I've never banged anything in the wheel wells or
oh,
anything.
mine
like,
are all banged up, and yeah, I used to run like a similar knuckle to the easy knuckle stuff. I did not like it at all.
Why didn't you?
I reamed the actual taper for the knuckle. It reamed itself out after a while of driving, and the tie rod was basically rattling in there because it's basically just billet aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah, those setups are really, really shitty, but like I guess that's
After
how-
that, it's like I'm gonna go back to tried and true OEM ball joint style knuckle. That's don't really got to
Okay.
worry about it.
Shit. I'm gonna go home and literally check my shit because now I'm like I never really thought of that as a concern because I'm like goes in here, torque everything. I did torque everything.
That's good.
Eat
Necessary.
your heart out. Just for those bolts. There's like literally 4 bolts there, and I will torque those.
Yeah.
Everything
Religiously.
else, like,
A little gun action.
extra little one. I know on my,
NASCAR
I know on the
and
gun
shit.
we use, that's exactly.
So only 4 of them.
No, it comes out, like, it's probably like 10. Like, I'll watch the bolt, and then I'll press it one more time, and if it doesn't go anymore, I'm like, it's about 90.
Yeah. Some trained mechanic shit.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, Bush, what did we get called that one time? This is like some Bush League mechanic shit.
Who said that?
I don't know. I don't
pretty
remember.
funny, though.
Somebody called somebody that when we were working on trackside.
I call it mechanic.
mechanic.
You're a mechanic, not a mechanic.
All right,
Yeah.
but damn, like what? Okay, so I'm gonna put the team question back because where do you guys see yourself like in the future? Because like you guys are.
Wait.
That was a dad
I got one after that, but let's do that. I gotta remember this question.
Because you guys are a team now and you guys are friends, right?
Yep.
So like to me that's what makes a team important because you're a team. Not because you just labeled it that and you like found somebody on the street or whatever, but like the cohesion there and stuff like that. It's what makes a team for me. So like I don't know, where do you guys see yourself in 5 years? Like are you guys still going to be doing this? Is the fire still lit up? Like
I think so. I mean, we finally got our cars kind of back together, and our other members, got maybe 1 or 2 cars to kind of fix up a little bit more because they just need a few things. But we're hoping to like drive some more together next year and like actually, get better in that regard. So hopefully keep driving. But if someone wants to quit and get out because they're just over it, it's like, I understand life's hard and shit's expensive. So it's like, hopefully we all stay together and do that stuff. And I kind of see us still driving even 5 years from now. But,
yeah.
We're also, we're young yet, but we're all in our early 30s. So it's like stuff starts to happen at this time.
Yeah,
right?
like life.
Yeah. So it's like, we might only get maybe another like year or 2 where we can be like, oh, we're all going to drive the same event. We're all going to do this and do this, to where it might be like, okay, well, I can't do this. He can't do that. Like whatever. But we'd still probably try to keep the team around, and then
How many of you are there in total?
there's me, Brent, Kevin, and then we have our other friend, Kevin Wink. He used to live with me and Brent. He has a white SC 300 with 1J in it, with VSKFs. We have Patrick Holly. He's got an A86 that's done to the moon. It's got everything on it that Corolla dudes love. And then he's got another Corolla that he's building as well. So he's got 2. And then we got Wes. He had a red S13 coupe, but he now has a Z because he kind of went that way where he was like, I'm done with the old car and fixing it all the time. I want to go to kind of a more turnkey, like just drive something that's simpler. So he went to a Z just this year. So he's working on that right now to get that thing up to snuff. And
So 6.
yes, we are at 6 members now.
So having 6 members that sound like they all have driving cars, pretty much,
yeah.
is first of all extremely fucking rare.
Yeah, what?
And like that's a good thing because then someone can back out and it really causes no problems.
Yeah, like we can't all, even this year. I mean, obviously my car was down during special stage, so I couldn't drive. Kevin's car was down and he's getting married, so he didn't want to like, screw too much stuff up with his
Congratulations,
car.
Kevin.
And then, so at special stage, it was Brent, other Kevin, and Wes had sold his car, and then Patrick. And
Yeah.
So it was kind of a mismatch because you had 2 turbo cars, one at like stock power, one at 500 million horsepower, whatever he's at.
Yeah.
And then we had a Corolla at like 50 horsepower, right? So it's like, so we put the Corolla in the front, and then the other guys just had to kind of like drive behind them.
Yeah.
But that's the fun of drifting, right? Is like doing that different stuff. Like,
Yeah, when it's not a competition, it's like whatever.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, well, it was, but
Yeah, that when it's a competition, it's kind of annoying. Like
Well-
before Final Bout started, it was like it didn't really matter who had what power and everything. 'Cause
Yeah.
you kind of just like
well,
make it work.
but like, I've been a judge for Final Bout for the special stages, and like we don't try to like. You're not going to get less points if you have a Corolla. Like, all of a sudden, it's going to be judged differently because, well, you guys are driving with the Corolla. We know the struggle of the Corolla guy.
Yeah.
So we know, like, we got to see how the other members react to him, and if it's still all cohesive and you have all the cars right, getting stacked up, even if they're going slower than you had if you had 3 S chassis or something. So you got to kind of, that stuff's all, you try to judge all that fairly. So hopefully, like, if someone has a team like that, like us, they're hopefully judged in that regard. But, you also still have to drive really well. And
Yeah.
But having those 6 team members, that's like a
that's,
blessing.
well, that's really hard. I mean, you look at like a team like Gleam,
Yeah.
who's like one of the higher up multi-car teams. Those guys rip together, and like, you'll see that this weekend. But those are hopefully my pick to maybe win it all. But
How
we'll
many
see.
how many members they got?
I think they got 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot of cars, and they all can drive really good. So
Yeah.
it's like they all kind of know where each other's at, and they have a Corolla too. Although he's got an S2000 engine in it, so he's got more power than a 4AG. But like,
Yeah.
they're a great example of like a low power NA car and then a bunch of S chassis stuff.
Okay.
Right? So it's like, and but it's all driver skill too.
So I got another question that might be a little weird, but when I see all the cars,
yes.
I see your style in my head. My question to you guys is, are you guys all into this stuff, or is he brainwashing you in a way? Horrible term to use, but you know what I'm saying? Like, does he? It's hard to explain, but and the only reason I'm asking is because that's exactly what I did to all my friends. So
Okay.
I will preface it with how this came about real quick. I was going to do all the graphics on my car like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And these guys randomly messaged me individually that they wanted to do a little bit of vinyl on their cars
Okay.
when they were done. And I was like, wait, I'm working on something. I sent it to them, and then that just snowballed.
yeah.
But hopefully they're into it. I mean,
Well, because like as I'm looking at the cars, I see like the IS is the IS to me. I can't say it reminds me of a front street car because it's not that ridiculous, but like the bumper's high off the ground, like the front end looks like more angle. Well, it is more angle. You just explained it. Like it looks more aggressive as far as driving style, and then the FC is kind of in the middle. It's like kind of lower, but still to me kind of looks more aggressive with driving style. And then your car reminds me of like, older 2000 stuff, like lower, probably drives like shit. Your car probably doesn't drive like shit, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah, no.
This guy's just shitting on him
yeah.
like right in front of his
So like,
face.
I
It's
see.
incredible.
Well, I mean,
No,
I've been there.
yeah, we know.
Yeah, it's the same shit. So, so that's why I'm like,
There's a bit of sacrifice for what you want.
yeah,
to,
yeah, of
right?
course.
But
But yeah, so that's why I'm like, in my mind, dude, I see it with teams all the time. It's like someone wants to do one thing, and then, you're trying to keep the team looking like a team instead of like one person is like way off on another, like,
I mean, I definitely probably bully these guys a bit more than I should, but like,
No, I mean, I'm asking because it's like, that is a thing, dude.
but like, I don't, but as far as their setup, if these guys want to run a little bit higher front, I might tease them a bit, but I'm like, if that's going to be how you got to drive your car, like Kevin's, car won't literally even steer unless his front end's raised up. And like Brent's got wild knuckle setup, and like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to like sit here and shit on it. I don't really care if people want to do the Kansai style or if they want to do the low style, but like Wes, he's got a Z and his car is probably going to be pretty low,
Okay.
but that's his choice.
Yeah.
But hopefully, he's planning on trying to do a few style cues to like tie in with the rest of the team.
Yeah, that's
right?
really what I'm like
And-
focusing on. Like,
But like our friend Kevin, other friend Kevin with the SC, like, we might steer him in a direction, or he might say, no, I like it low style the way it is. And he might end up keeping his car that, but like, that's like a project where we got to repaint that car to try to tie it in with the team. Cause it's still OEM white paint and like
Yeah.
whatever else. And, but then you got like Patrick's Corolla, which is all like straight Corolla style, good line arrow, all that stuff. And we're not telling him to, put a fucking SR in that.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that car's
do
perfect.
whatever. We're like, no, keep it, keep it the way it is. Like,
yeah.
so, I mean, these guys, they can chime in or whatever with whatever if they don't want me telling them how to make it look. But
Yeah.
But I do try to put all the, like, I design all the cars when we're doing livery stuff and everything. I put it all on the computer, and like, if like Brent was iffy on a GT wing and on the blue graphics and on white wheels, well, I can render all that for you. I
Yeah,
can show
yeah.
you what it looks like, right? Like, and then he was like, oh shit, I'm down. So then that becomes a car. And like, Kevin wanted to do some stuff on his car, right? And like I was like, you should do like the silver accents on the mirrors or whatever, and a few other things. And and these guys totally collaborate
Yeah.
with me on these ideas.
I think the reason
but-
I asked the question is because the cars look so good and matching that to me, I'm like, someone had to have conducted this, but it seems like it's not really like that.
I'm not sitting here with a wand like,
Yeah.
okay, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. But
Like the fact that you're all like on board with this and the cars are like they all look like that is fucking awesome.
I mean,
Like,
you guys ask me questions, right? And I just tell you like, oh, maybe I'd do this or maybe I'd do that, or maybe
Yeah.
I might say do this.
it's just really cool to see it. You know what I mean?
I think when I was doing my car, I told you the color I was going with,
Yep.
and I sent you a parts list of everything that I was going to put on it, and then you just made me a rendering of it, and I was like, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and sometimes like his car, like if I'm like not well versed in it as far as like what aero options and stuff, because like I know these cars, but I don't know other stuff. So he'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do this bumper and I'm gonna do that, and I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, can this all work together? Can that work?
yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah,
It does help that you can
order
render
that.
it all.
And like I'll bring up Wes again because he's building a car right now, right? So he's like messaging me like, oh, what about this bumper? What about that? And I'm like, I don't know about that, but like this is cool. What about looking at this stuff? But he's also trying to keep a price point at a certain thing
Yeah,
too. So
then
there's
there's
also
that.
that. Like,
Yeah.
so but you try to. I don't want to say I'm even like picking all this stuff for you guys because I'm not. You guys totally did all this yourself. It's just like. I think just being able to do it in the computer.
Yeah, the rendering thing does
Yeah.
help because it's like he could think of something, put it in the render, and then you'll see it and you'll be like, oh shit.
Yeah. I think,
So that's really cool that you can do that.
like his mock-up originally had BN arrow because we trying to get him to do BN just to match us, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Okay, well, there's a good example.
and he was like, "Nah, I'm not doing. I'm keeping the elixir."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Okay."
And
But
you
then-
held your ground and you're like, no, I want that shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Neither, thank you, Brent.
We're still trying to get him to do it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But if he didn't, I'm not gonna freaking like, be like, "All right, Brent, you're fired." Like,
You fired.
no, I don't. I still like his car. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, me and Kevin got the BN thing going, so
Yeah.
should
It,
do
would
it
be
too.
cool, but yeah. I mean, that's not even a big fucking deal. You know what I
No.
mean? The big deal would be like if he was like, dude, I think I'm just going to like not paint it this year. I'm just going to have a big country lab wing. And then you're like,
that's the stuff that I would probably be like, we gotta,
like, what do you do in that
we gotta
situation?
not do that.
Have you ever had to deal with something like that?
Intervention.
I don't know, like maybe.
I don't think we have.
No,
Not
not
something that drastic.
Not, not. Somebody might say, I'm thinking of doing this.
See, I think
What do
I've
you
dealt with that.
What do you think? And then I would be like, well, let's see, and then, but I don't think we ever ran into something that
Yeah.
egregious where it would be like,
Where it just throw everything off.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, because it's so hard to keep a team, literally a team vibe. Literally.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's because I feel like we're all on that team mindset right now because of where we are and what our environment is. So,
Well, it's like having a team of cars that don't match at all is one thing, but having a team that like these guys where all the cars look so good together, it's pretty
but that's
awesome.
the thing is like, I feel like they complement each other so well. It's
Yeah.
not like they're all painted silver and they're all S chassis.
Yeah.
It's Technicolor.
Yeah. It's,
Technicolor. It's all pastels.
Damn.
I mean, at one
Wow.
point we were maybe like, oh, it'd be cool if they're all one color, but I'm like, no, I think it's cooler if we all do our own thing, and
Yeah.
then we can tie it in with the graphics, but the graphics don't necessarily need to be the same, but it'd be cool if they are.
Yeah.
Like our Corolla, Patrick with his Corolla, he's got a different vinyl graphics package on his car than what we run, like these 3 cars have, but it all still works, right?
Yeah.
But you also don't have to have vinyl if you don't want to,
Well, that would throw everything off. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's also not like the end of the world. I'm just thinking of crazy shit. Like if someone was just like, yeah,
I don't think
I
that
don't want to run a bumper anymore.
I just don't think, I think that you're discrediting these lovely gentlemen right here because I don't think any of you guys are going to do any bullshit like that.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's-
going to
yeah.
lie.
No,
Like-
I
Put one of those football helmet
Oh yeah,
bash guards on the front.
the
football bumper.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't think, and I think that's where a lot of teams are blessed almost because the group, it's not hard to make a decision since you guys are kind of on the same page.
Yeah, if you all have the same mindset, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, and like we all got into this before TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff took off, right? So a lot of those kind of awful ideas didn't probably percolate in anybody's head before. Like we all kind of got into it at the same time and were able to, Brent was looking at IS stuff and building his car with that, all those stuff. Kevin was obsessed with FCs, but he had an FRS, so me and him were trading FRS ideas and then
Another big thing that I just realized, you all are from the Midwest.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a massive thing because you have Risky Devil and Proceed and all those guys and Breaking and like all the teams from around here were all the cars looked good already before Final Bout existed, So it's like,
Yeah, we weren't the outliers trying to do this in
Yeah.
a scene that didn't have anything. Because I'll lump us in the Chicago scene because we're only a few hours away, really, when you think about it. And all those guys is all what we looked at online.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, and saw in person and talked to and all that shit.
yeah.
And
So
then-
you had really good role model type cars to get ideas from.
yeah, and like, there's some scenes out there that probably there's only a few guys that really care about having a nice car.
That's
and
our.
then-
That's our.
and then the rest
No,
of the
it's not.
cars are all kind of like, I'll say missile car or whatever. But
Yeah.
and
That's what I grew up around. It was like all missile car, quote unquote, and then like us in Front Street.
yeah.
But I
And we
feel
were
like now it's not, it's way different. And that's why I was like, no, it's not right away. Because
Yeah,
there's,
I'd still say it's nothing like it is here, but it's better than it was.
You haven't been to a regular drift
Yeah.
show.
I was going to say, like,
Regular drift event is not to the level it was when we first started going to events as far as like the cars that show up. But I kind of attribute that to the guys that built the really nice shit are all older now, so they're not going to go to drift days all the time. And then, and then
Oh,
you
so you're
kinda-
saying like maybe the social media thing really did the opposite effect?
it kind of, it kind of did. Like it, a lot of the cars there now are like the quote unquote kind of garbage shit
Yeah.
you see. But also, you gotta think everybody's into the sport at a different time period. So you might look at a car of somebody and go, that thing is a complete pile of garbage. This guy's like doing this, but that's just because they only started a year or two ago.
Yeah,
and they
that doesn't
They didn't
count.
like get this that they didn't know that they're doing it.
And they
wrong.
might not
Yeah.
be able to afford it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody brought that up to me. Our friend Ryan kind of said something that to me like 9 months ago. And I was like, that's a way to think about that. That not everyone's probably purposely building a car that's, to piss off the haters. It's just because they might not know that they're building a bad car.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those for sure.
know?
Yeah, they're just not in. They don't know like the older style cars and stuff. They have no idea.
There's also no forums anymore. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm talking about JDM Chicago earlier, and I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm taking it all in, soaking it in. That stuff's gone.
Yeah.
And everything's lost to Facebook pages and whatever. And if the stuff that gets posted by those pages progressively gets worse or stupid, like, then people are going to imitate that. I mean, look at in Japan, it's a lot of mixture of stuff now.
Oh,
right?
now it's crazy. Yeah.
So it's like, it's just kind of, everything's connected so much that everything's kind of different. But I just build your shit the way you want it done.
Yeah, and then however it ends up, it ends up. And if you get lucky and you end up like a team like this, in my eyes, that's fucking awesome.
And one thing, if people want to curb that type of behavior with people like building shitty cars, I think is start going to more regular drift events. Show people that you're not just doing final bout, that you're doing regular events, and that like that's what cars should be.
That's pretty much what we did by us, like the Front Street cars and our cars. We would go to the events a lot, and then I remember people telling us like, "Wow, yeah, it's kind of cool that cars look like that." I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not saying that we might not be able to afford to go to a bunch of regular drift events to hopefully, and I don't want to toot our own horn or like be a leading example or something, but it's just like that. If the more people that have like really nice cars, and there's a lot of people in the Midwest that have really nice cars, like the more you drive, the more people that are just starting out or have crappy cars will hopefully be like, oh, I really want that. And maybe they might talk to you, they might learn something, they might do whatever. But also everybody can reach out to anybody on social media too.
Yeah.
So
And some people just go to takeovers and
well,
Yeah, does that happen around? What about takeovers?
don't even bring that up.
Any police? It's a police area. Doesn't come here.
No, I just think it's probably not a big enough city for that to happen.
okay.
I just hope that it stays that way because it seems that you guys have a really good vibe around here. Everything seems to, at least to me, seem a little bit more relaxed, and that just might be because I come from like a more congested area where we're exposed to stuff like every day, like something random every day.
Yeah.
So like that's where social media comes in because you mentioned it earlier, and like I don't know, I was kind of hoping that maybe it would be a good thing for out here, since you mentioned that it was like 10 years behind. I'm like, maybe social media can make that better, but do you see it like doing the opposite, I guess?
I don't know. It's like I think it's fast forwarded a few things, but drifting being bigger in general, I think, has really changed stuff. Like there's way more people from this area that go to US Air, even if they don't drive yet, than there ever has been. You know, like when it was just our like group, that was it from around here. Like if you told somebody what drifting was, they wouldn't even know. Now, like everybody knows what drifting is, you know,
Like Tokyo Drift.
yeah. So it's like there's a lot of, you know, I think a lot of people know kind of how to that they don't build cool shit, but it's like there's still a lot of bad, you know, tuner cars that you see out there, right? But I don't think.
Cobalt.
Yeah, exactly. That was me. Look, a guy that didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
I
right?
wish you still had the Eclipse. Well, you had a Talon, but yeah.
I dug some pictures out like a while ago.
Yeah.
But
Did we happen to post any questions?
We did.
For you guys.
We posted it for Matt, but I'm sure there's some in here.
I was gonna say I would like to apply them to all of you because some of these questions, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. You never really know what you're gonna get. But the social media thing is big on my mind right now, just because of where Final Bout is, I guess.
yeah,
And I've been in the car with Frankie for fucking like maybe 19 hours or 21 hours, and like you take a lot of time to think about shit. And like this year, I think that Final Bout is going to be different just because of the exposure now. It's so crazy. Like the fact that I knew you guys' cars without knowing your names, I think that's weird for me. Usually I'll at least be like, oh, that's Matt or that's Kevin or Brent.
you
But,
should have
like,
been at the
now I'm
first
like,
Final Bout.
Yeah.
That shit. I mean, I was like pretty new to the scene at the time, but like all those people, almost what, Frankie, 3/4 of people that were meeting for the first time in person at that event.
It was awesome to see that.
Yeah, I mean that was like that shit is.
And you're talking people that knew each other for 10 years on the forums.
Yeah.
And then they're like meeting for the first time.
Nobody at that time. Nobody had really put an event together that conned everybody enough to.
The only other one was All Star Bash, right?
And that was before I was like following the scene or anything. But
Yeah.
you know, like Josh and Chob and all them like went out west or whatever and met people. But Otherwise, it was probably just a few people here and there would visit different places and meet
Yeah.
people, but like nothing was like this, and then it turned into what it is now.
Yeah, which is like way bigger now.
Yeah.
It's like a
Huge.
totally different thing.
Oh, it's a machine. It's a machine now.
Yeah,
I'm
that's how I
terrified.
feel.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow might be kind of wild.
Yeah. You think there's gonna be a lot of people there?
I think that there's going to be a shitload of people
I
there.
can think about
Yeah.
that.
I was talking.
Drifting's fun.
Yeah, I was talking with Simba, and I think that this is probably going to be as big or bigger than Gallery 2019 was, which was when Sexy Nights came.
That's when we went, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You had us working.
You came to that, and you drove that. And
Yeah, I
then-
think I
and
did,
then
right?
You drove Final Bout 4. Or you did not drove, but you came to Final Bout 4.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
drove Super D. That
And
was the
Super
other one
D.
he came here
You
for.
guys came to
Oh,
Super D.
okay, yeah.
But yeah, Gallery was like, that was huge. That was my first Final Bout event I ever drove. I had the FRS, and like, I got into that event because our good friend of all of ours, but Modelo Jones was like, yo, you should put this guy in the event, because it was invite only. There was no comp to qualify or anything. And I got into that, met a bunch of people, and like, yeah, that was an awesome event. And it was like, I don't know, that made every regular drift event be like, oh my God, this is like,
It's like whatever.
you're like, what is a regular drift event now? Like, it was like you're trying to chase the dragon at that point, right? But
Yeah.
but then you kind of realize like, oh, drifting, you got to tone it down. Like, drifting is drifting, right? But
So I'm looking at these questions, and Modelo Jones asks,
yeah, see, there he is.
Wow. That you mentioned the name.
this is a good one for all of you. What was Bayside's original name?
Oh,
Was there
Okay, so,
base?
okay, so when I first made the name, it was Bayside, because you had to put a little drift essence into it.
Yeah,
right?
Bayslide.
So-
That's not that bad.
Fuck with
And
that.
as a side note, I wanted to trade stickers with people, and I remember talking to Frankie on the interwebs back in the day, and I sent him stickers, and he sent me stickers back as a nice guy.
That's
and,
Yeah, I definitely have those stickers then.
yeah, they're probably somewhere.
Yeah.
And then an OG dude, Edgar from Team Dark Squad, shout out him. He's like, pulled me aside one day, and he's like, "You should drop the L, take the L out of the base slide, and just make it Bayside." And I was like, "Okay."
Damn.
And I did. And I was like, and then it was like totally made a difference, made it way more. He's like, because he's like, team names shouldn't have anything to like
Do with
they
drifting.
do with drifting. And I
Yeah.
was like, you're right.
that is a very good
Damn.
point.
I mean, shit, because now I'm thinking of all these other teams with like, I'm trying to think of like, I don't know, a team where you're like, oh, okay, like that's probably a drifting team, and it's like Team Doorbash or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like, and
I mean,
I'm like,
if
okay.
that's your team name, that's your team name.
Is that a
Yeah.
real thing?
But that was like, no, I don't know where that is.
No,
but
just call them out. What are the ones you're thinking of?
I can't think of any.
It's hard to do it on the spot.
yeah, but
I
like,
can't really think of anything. It's just I'm like, yeah, now I like the name. Now I notice the names that I like.
Don't have anything to do.
Yeah, don't have
Yeah.
anything to do with driving.
Like Club Sandwich.
Like Magnificent.
Club Sandwich, that's an OG, that's an old team.
What was it?
Club Sandwich.
Club Sandwich?
Yeah,
That sounds fire.
that was
You don't like
Billy.
that was Billy and Nick Gianni
Yeah.
and
I remember
Was
going
it-
to Final Bout.
Was it Mikey?
I think Mikey.
Mikey McCutcheon?
They were like
No,
Club Sandwich.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, that works, I guess.
No, but like Magnificent. That name you keep talking about that. and
Yeah,
what
it's
the
an
fuck?
old team now, but
Or like Proceed. You've said
Proceed.
Proceed a bunch
Yeah.
of times this past couple days, and I'm like, wow, like
Essence,
that's so
you know,
cool. Yeah,
Essence,
Essence.
Risky
Like, what the
Devil.
fuck?
Breaking.
Yeah.
Breaking is the fucking best name.
The other thing with Bayside too is I'd always see these Riverside stickers, not knowing kind of the history at the time, but I was just like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so then it's like base.
Every
yeah,
time you see
Bayside.
one of the old Japanese names, you're like, oh, I'll never think of something like that.
And then now one of those guys affiliated with that team is like, here.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well that's cool. Bayslide.
Yeah, shout out.
I got to find that
team.
sticker. John Kim asks you, does he miss his FRS?
I do, only in the fact that I didn't have to work on it. I could literally turn the key, put gas in it, go drifting. go
Yeah,
home.
and that's what Dave Bob said too.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna ask Kevin about it now because I
kinda
know
do
how
wanna
he
ask-
feels
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
ask you, yeah.
I mean, I miss being able to drive whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it was a drift car and I drove it to Bozeman, Montana
Yeah.
as a drift car. and like it did fine. I would never trust that. I don't trust that to go to Chicago from here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That for me. And Brent, your car was the same way for a while until you went wild man on it too, right? Like, and like with the FRS, for me, I was at a point too with that car where I was like, the next step is to like go kind of crazy with it.
Yeah, like SR20 or something.
Yeah, or something stupid.
Yeah.
But then looking at what Lee did with the HKS turbo, I was like, you know what? If,
Hell
I,
yeah.
if I had that car now, I would just do that.
That's what I would do.
Like
too.
knowing what I know now from what I've seen Lee do, I was like, I would just turbo the engine in it, even though the engine's stupid. Like,
Another question was, do you guys ever think you'd be back into FRS? Ever?
if I had the funds, I would maybe get one and do the Uras kit and all the shit like that I photoshopped up on a car. I don't know if Kevin ever would though.
No.
Straight up no. Even though you might have the biggest reason to do that because this car breaks
But
down.
I would probably get an RX-8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
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 Whoa, okay, because RX-8,
Kind of
that's
reliable.
kind of more. It's newer,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you would hope that it would be more reliable, but it will maintain some of the characteristics. But then you have like that electric power steering
which
shit.
sucks ass.
Yeah, but you had that in the FRS.
Did you guys have like a controller for that in the
No,
FRS?
that wasn't a
That
thing.
wasn't made yet,
No.
right? So
No, we were actually making our own stuff. Like we were finding like suspension parts and steering parts that would fit from an S13 onto an FRS to like increase steering angle. Like
Yeah.
no one made knuckles for my car when I made knuckles for my car.
that's
Like cut and weld knuckles, not
Yeah,
like,
like you're
wise
doing your-
fab shit.
Oh
yeah.
no.
And
the
then
first ones were nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And I just drilled a new hole and then reamed it out. And they worked great.
yeah, and then you did the cut and weld ones and
Yep.
gave me those other ones. I never ran them though. And then yeah, if we figured out S chassis rack spacers like worked. So like I ran like those little 5 mil spacers in my steering.
you're ballsy for that. Like that could maybe make or break that car. Like if you tested it and then like and it didn't work, God forbid, like I'd freak out.
And was still
Well-
on lease.
My car was paid off for a long.
Like, you're like, is that car paid off? It's like, no, it's fucking brand new.
I did a couple of years making payment. I only made payments on like 2 years, and I was able to save up enough and like pay it off.
The lease is wild.
And then once it was paid off, that's when I like started doing a lot more like exterior stuff and tearing the interior out and like doing other shit.
Yeah. But the lease?
I'm
Yeah,
trying to just
My,
cracking up.
my car was still on lease and I
Yeah.
crashed into Brent.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I'm like, imagine you had to return it, and let's say you were able to make it back to stock
The
looking.
thing is, someone owns that car right now.
but then
was a
I'm
full
thinking
drift
like
car.
since you drilled a hole in the knuckle, and let's say you traded it in at that
I
time.
bought it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
did.
you
Yeah,
bought it.
did.
Yeah, and then I crashed it at what was that? That was
Gallery or Super D, I can't remember which one.
no, it wasn't Super D.
But you crashed it at one of those big events.
It was Final Bout.
But it was when you crashed it the first time, it wasn't into Brent. It was somebody else.
Yeah, it was Final Bout 3. I crashed into Caleb when we were doing Super D layout.
Oh, okay.
And then I sold it to a guy named Brian Peter, who used to be a Formula D driver. He's
Okay.
from like the Milwaukee area.
And then he sold it to another guy that's still drifting it, I think.
No,
or-
and then he sold it to another guy, who sold it to another guy, who sold it to the guy that owns it.
It's still drifting. I see it.
Yeah.
It's a drift car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm thinking if let's say sorry Frank,
No,
I
it's
just gotta. If I bought a car off the lot and I put it in the air and I saw a hole in the knuckle, I would be like, "What the fuck?" That's just me thinking about that.
No, remember when I was talking about that team from this area that was at like,
Sandwich.
no, it must have been Final Bout 2 or 3. And it was a team of FRSs. A bunch of people sent me things. I don't know if you sent
so
me
that
one.
was you were talking about Funk Ad, and
Yeah,
that was Slava and
Okay, that is the name I was
Phil,
thinking of.
What is it?
And
Did you send me that after?
no, but
you
I
heard
was gonna text you, and then I just
Okay,
didn't.
you're the only one that got it right. Because some people sent me like teams, and I was like,
No,
this isn't it.
It was Funk Ad. Shout out Slava. Shout out Phil Star and fuck, I can't remember. Alex, I think was the
Do you
other
think that
guy's
was Final
name.
Bout 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Because the palm trees and
are like
Yeah.
the palm trees in front of their pit and everything. I think they drove years in a row. They drove 2, and I think they drove 3.
that shit was sick.
And then one of the guys moved away. Phil moved out to California, sold all of his shit, I believe, or he brought the car out there, then sold it, and then Slava sold his car and got an FC. And now I don't think he's in drifting at all. Or,
That's what I think too. He was the one that I would talk to. Or
I've talked to him quite a bit and got a lot of like, because he was the first one to hit like 200 horsepower NA on his car. He ran long tube header, like did a bunch of tuning and ran E85. And I was like, ooh, okay. And it was like, I guess his car was like pretty badass. And then I wanted to copy that, but I ended up just doing a different setup. But
Yeah, well, now at least I got the name. I have that sticker too.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. But do you miss your 86?
No, same question.
Oh,
I guess.
yeah, that. When I see 86, I'm like,
Yeah.
A86. Some random ones in here that I'm not going to read.
Why?
Why switch from an FRS to an S13?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you just like the car more, right?
I like this S13 is just dream car as the styling, that everything's better to me about it. And I can run the big arrow, I can run the GT wings, I can run the cool wheels, I can get the SR20, like you get all the stuff, right? Like, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, I'll ask a weird one. What music is worse, disco or country? For all
Disco.
you guys.
I like country.
Okay. Yeah, you guys all like country music? Is that a...
I don't like all country, but like if it's Alan Jackson, 90s, like country.
Old country, I can handle that.
Like George Strait.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like most people by us, like, if you liked country when you were younger, it was weird as fuck. Like, I don't
I mean,
know if
that's,
I was just shocked because every radio station, like we were driving through Ohio or
it was all
somewhere,
country.
and Frankie just kept clicking through, dude, and it was like country music after country music after country
there's
music.
like one country radio station.
I
by
like
us.
country music, though a lot of people probably don't think that, and I know Malcolm does. Look at him. Of course. Yeah, I know he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a
And
good
like-
old boy.
I mean, if you drive a pickup truck, you got to listen to country.
Debatable.
You guys live, you're from the city though. That's fine.
Yeah,
City boys.
Yeah, I don't know. I like country-ish music.
Like,
Malcolm knows.
you probably like what, like Waylon and Willie? And,
No, Taylor Swift.
No, I'm not even thinking of Taylor Swift, but I do love Taylor Swift. I don't know, Malcolm. What would you consider it?
Okay, so you like the newer outlaw style country, or like whatever? Yeah, okay.
Outlaw. Ooh,
That's
I
what's-
like that.
that's
yeah,
what's-
I like outlaw country.
Yeah,
yes.
like Sturgill Simpson and like.
Yes, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, see, that's considered outlaw country, I think.
Okay.
Same with
Yeah,
like,
fucking outlaws.
and then the old stuff too from like the 70s and 80s and shit.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's all in that
I
same
like
group. Some of it's pretty bad.
love blues, like shit like that. So I feel like sometimes there's like a weird line where you can get like drawn into some country,
Yeah.
and like that's
Well,
my
there's
thing.
like Southern blues, right? I mean, that's like
Yeah.
what Elvis learned from, right? And that like became all that shit. And we don't have to get into that music. That's music podcast.
where to begin with all that. But favorite sports mascot? Anyone?
Well, I mean, it's not a mascot, but
Yeah, what is it? Like, is there
it's
a
just
mascot?
cheese.
I was gonna
Is
say,
it- isn't it a cheese?
Cheesehead?
Bucky the Badger.
Is that really it? The
That's
mascot for the
that's-
Packers?
No, that's for,
Packers had
that's
a
for
mascot
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin
Yeah.
as a state.
Packers had a mascot
No.
in the
No.
1980s
College
for
team.
like 1 or 2
college team.
years, and then I'll just say cheese.
What is with the cheese head thing?
They got cheese here, bro.
Yeah, we're
America's
good.
Dairyland.
Yeah.
We saw a cheese castle on the way.
Mars Cheese Castle.
Yeah, stop
there on your way back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
I
kidding.
hate cheese, but we will.
What? Oh, yeah. You actually don't.
They
like
got beef
cheese.
sticks and shit too.
I'm like cheeseburger. That's fine.
You have the
But like
ability.
a plate of cheese, I'm fucking good. That
You
shit smells
literally
like
have
ass.
the ability to eat cheese, and you don't. And like, I don't have the ability to eat cheese, and I will because it's good. And, like, I think that's insane.
I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, but I just don't let my body tell me what I can and can't do.
So you just push
I
through
eat
it.
the cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got friends like that, and they ruin the entire fucking day. But like, we'll all go out and be like, "Yeah, cool," and then it's like, now he's got a shit.
No,
so
you
we
gotta be smart about it.
Eat it close to bedtime.
Like if I'm gonna eat ice cream, I gotta be at home.
Okay. I gotta be at home.
I need my toilet paper. I need my bathroom, bro.
So mad we didn't get the ice cream truck, but it's okay.
I know you are. You'll get
Live to fight another day. why doesn't the entire Green Bay scene street drift? We kind of got on that. There's too many cops, I guess.
That's
with nothing to do.
yeah.
Well, I can kind of step on that.
Okay.
I was driving my car about a month ago.
Yeah.
And wasn't even getting on it or anything.
Say out again.
About.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I just wanted to hear it.
I had the cops banging on my door 2 days later just for a loud car.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
I don't know if I can live
It
here.
was a little town in the outskirts of Green Bay here, and I was driving around. My car's parked out there normally, and because it's not out there normally, someone called it in for being loud. Cops come banging on my door. What the hell is this thing?
It's my
Start
car,
questioning
sir.
me a bunch of shit, like whatever, and then he just went on his way. But they found me by my Instagram because I was driving around. It was right after Final Bout Central, so I towed my car home from the track because I got hit, and I just didn't have my license plate on yet.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. I fucking fixed the car, took it for a drive around the block, came back, and that's when the guy called in, and they didn't have my license plate, anything. They found me from my Instagram from all the logos that were on my
Oh
car.
my god. So the cops here are very bored.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Okay.
That takes moderate amount of effort and digging to
Yeah, they should try to
Very
like,
much. He was like, it was crazy looking through your page and seeing your car go from red to white to green. I'm like, the hell, man? You're creeping on me.
it's like cool that they creeped on you, or like it's like scary, like it's weird, right? I saw your car, and it's like, yeah, you're a fucking creep. That's all it is. It's not. I'm not scared. Like
Right.
you're fucking weird, dude. Like leave me alone.
That
Jesus
is
Christ.
crazy, dude.
I'm glad we live in a heavy populated area for a reason like that. where
Very
cops-
over policed.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's like 500 people in this town. There's probably 40 cops.
That's a lot, right?
40 cops?
That's a lot. For
Yeah, that is a lot.
the amount of people.
Is that a
population.
wild? Yeah, is that a
There's 100
crazy?
cops in here.
Oh,
No,
damn.
I'm
that's
saying
even
in
high.
the town that the cop.
Yes.
Police.
Yeah.
The small town.
Yeah, it was a small town police ship, like police town officer that came knocking on my door. It wasn't just like an area cop.
So weird. Yeah, we don't really deal with that. Very rarely will something like that ever happen. But like exhaust
It's
tickets
just
used to be
bizarre.
a big thing. So
It's that 1.5, man, just getting you into trouble.
COVID, everything got like really relaxed.
Dude, let me tell you, drifting during COVID would have been sick. I didn't have a drift car during COVID because I was a dumbass and sold it like literally right before. And I think that's what caused COVID. Like I sold an S13 SR hatch for way too cheap. And then COVID was like, nah. But during that time, like, was it different here too? Like, did you think you could do it more, or were the cops still out like
They
crazy?
were still out.
Dude.
Like they were out just as much, and there's not as many people on the road.
So now you're
you're
tired.
extra fucked.
Well, that's pretty much it for questions. So we kind of should probably hit the road and go to final bout.
Yeah, we're late as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate to do that just because like I know it felt a little rushed and like we didn't really get to cover a lot
How
of
long was it?
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still over 2 hours.
I know, but I just want to ask him more. Like,
Go for
I
it.
don't know. We'll bond over it because you guys' cars are going to be there tomorrow and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I got questions for like Kevin, Brent, fucking
You should-
Matt.
you should-
Weird
You
shit,
should just
like-
mic us up, and then Malcolm can cut
Yeah.
it all up. Like,
Well, we'll do another one.
Well,
you know.
Saturday.
Yeah, you could mic me up, and then I'll just be out on grid yelling at drivers for doing stupid stuff.
Definitely, like we'll either be back here again, or you guys one day will come out to Englishtown, and then we can do another one.
Nah,
like,
dude. I'm trying to. If you don't want to do it, I'll fucking plan it, dude.
like come up here.
No, I'm gonna plan something so that
yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
can come together for Faction and Friends.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. But
right,
dude, thank
sounds
you guys
nice,
so
man.
much. I know this was weird to work into your guys' schedule, especially because now we're late for the thing that we came here to do. And like
It's all right, we
now
ain't
it's
doing
fucked, and I probably hope that we didn't taint your image, but I want to say thank you guys because again, it's hard to coordinate stuff.
And most importantly, thank you for running our logo on your
That's
cars,
Frankie's
man.
logo.
That was
thanks
like
for
it's amazing.
selling us the best parts in the world.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you guys for supporting us. And I mean, I saw your cars at one of the final bouts or whatever, and I mean, I've known you for a while, but I saw the cars and I was like, I need my logo on that car. What can we do? So,
Yeah, it was just a DM. I was at lunch got a DM from the boss over here, and then I come back. I'm like, hey, by the way, I got us a sponsor, and they're like, what?
That's sick.
that doesn't mean you should DM me and ask me for a sponsorship.
No,
okay.
don't Don't do that.
Wait. Before you go, do you guys have any words that you would like to say or share? Plug yourself. The Instagram is Bayside Street Club.
Yeah, we don't post on it at all, but
I know. I think I like that.
I'll start.
he kind of runs that, but he's been slacking.
Yeah.
But
He's busy, man.
Things been hectic.
Hectic.
But I don't know. I just like thank my wife for like letting me do all this and being involved in it and wanting to go to drift events and all that stuff because that's a really big help and also works out. So
I feel like you got some stuff coming out though, right? Don't you have like a vinyl package or something you were thinking about doing?
no, you'll see some shit at Final Bout 6 that in the merch
Okay.
all done up by that me and Simba worked on. So
Oh,
I mean, I
sick. Awesome.
did it, but for Final Bout. So
And you do like design work for everyone?
I try to pick and choose. Like I don't like any Joe Blow will message me sometimes, and I just
They have a crazy idea, and you're like,
yeah. Sometimes it's out of my wheelhouse. Sometimes I just don't feel like taking on that particular job. But I do all these guys stuff. I do another local team like when they need little things.
Yeah.
You guys came in and saw us sponsored a off-road racing buggy.
yeah. And you guys did our stuff too, so
Yeah,
you did our
did Miyagi's car and
Yeah.
AJ's car and did your car originally. And
Maybe you'll do Carl's.
Take it
maybe did
easy.
your cars. But yeah, I've done a lot of people. Just did pause. And on that note,
Tiptoed into the sus realm. All right, it's time to get sus. Malcolm, close us out. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Faction After Hours. We'll see everybody at Final Bout. We got one more, right? Or is it two more?
We do have another podcast tonight. I forgot.
Yeah, you fucking asshole.
Wow.
Yeah, you're over there chasing an ice cream truck.
It's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, and you're chasing an ice cream truck. All right, thank you guys so much. We are mobile. Let's get it. Just kidding.
All right, guys. Well, I didn't get my ice cream, but it was still a really fun podcast. We had a really good time. I feel like I got a lot of insight from Matt about their team dynamics and everything around that. These guys all have really awesome cars, and they're all on the same page. Like, they all want to have really sick early 2000s looking drift cars, and they just nail it, man. If you guys managed to get to Final Bout that weekend, all three of these cars were at our booth, so that was also awesome. Thank you guys for parking the cars up there and attracting some attention to us. Final Bout was a trip, man. This is the last episode we have. We were trying to do another one, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So this time we got 4. Our California trip, we got 3. So we're making progress. So hopefully the next trip we do, we get even more podcasts and we're able to share stories from around the country of, business owners, drivers. There's so many different types of people we talk to. So just a reminder, we have a website you guys can buy parts on, you guys can buy merch on. It's FactionMotorsports.com. We have all of our merch there. We have hats, shirts, usually sweatshirts. We have stickers. We have parts for your S chassis. We got parts for FRS, BRZ, 300ZX, Subarus, anything. Make sure you check out that website. And if you don't find the part you're looking for on there, shoot us an email. sales@FactionMotorsports.com. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.